I haven't streamed in so long. Wait. Is it working? You guys can see my whole... Oh, ignore that. Yo, is my stream working? I just got leaked. Okay, I'm connected, but it's not... Oh. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Wait, let me listen. Okay, I'm connected, but okay, it's sound good. Audio's working. Chat. Chat. I'm waiting for people to get in here. Right now it's kind of empty. Hold up. Y'all like the thumbnail? I actually did something with... I did not get an ad on my own freaking video, bro. Oh my god. Okay, I got my phone over here so I can moderate since I'm back at my parents' house and my monitor still doesn't connect to my computer, so that's fun. Yeah, so I'll be checking chat periodically as soon as I figure out how I'm gonna lay this against the thing. There we go. And let me sort it by all messages. There we go. Already got a like? Okay, Cook. Hey, everybody. You guys are looking at all my stats. Hold up. Let me show you why we're here. Let me show you guys why we're here. We're reading Witch on the Holy Night. Look, I don't know who this character is, but holy crap. I don't know who this character is, but we gotta meet her. Could this be the new Saber? Who knows? All I know about this game is that I need some background music. All I know about this game is that it's Nasuverse and it's a prequel to Tsukihime, right? I think... Okay, never mind. Cool. Yeah, let me not leak all my stuff over here. Anyway, I have not played a game on stream in a minute, so to the people in chat, make sure you tell me if my thing is loud, but we have it right here. Oh, also, for the people who do care, I have been working on my visual novel. This is my program that I used to make it, by the way. Oh, and I have the Fate remaster. Look, I have the Fate remaster, so... Can this go away? Jeez. I have the Fate listen, ignore... This is leaked videos, don't look over here. I have the Fate remaster, so if we want to play Fate, read some Unlimited Blade Works, let me know. And I also have Samurai Remnant. Yeah. So let me know. But we do have Witch on the Holy Night. It was on sale, so we're going to be playing that. Yo, my computer's burning my finger right now. Hold up. Let's see if we can actually stream. Y'all got to tell me how the audio... Oh. Gotta update Steam. Is it going to leak my Steam account? Yep, there it is. There it is, guys. Add me on Steam. Go ahead and add me on Steam. Dang, I gotta go through so many things. Launching. Oh. I also have Xstella and Holy crap, my computer's frames. They're gone. Let me close out of my tabs here. Do you guys see the frame drop? It's over. Oh, this is disgusting. Wait, I'm not ready. I can't hear anything. Are y'all good? Y'all can see this? I legit don't hear anything. I should have tested this before I started. Oh my god. Wait. Crap. Let's audio out. Maybe it'll start up. I hate that. What the heck is that? Oh, can y'all hear those? Because if that's loud enough, then I think the game should be loud enough. Y'all hear that? Wait, let me go to my stream since y'all not talking. Y'all hear that? Wait, let me. Okay, bet. Okay, bet you can hear. I don't know why it's so long, but anyway, let's get started. Who's ready to read? I am. Be sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're new. Check out the stream stats on my screen right now. I'll surprise you with bonus stuff on my novel. I should turn off the lights. It's kind of bright in here. Hold up. I'm alright. I hope my mic doesn't pop because I don't have the pop filter on it. Okay, let's go. It was a winter's day 8 years ago. That solemn morning when she understood the value of life for the very first time. Okay, Cook. Her home was nestled on the side of a mountain. I like this. Let me turn that up. Around it was nothing but inhospitable wilderness. She had no neighbors or childhood friends to speak of. Things like traveling to school or playing outside were more trouble than they ought to be. Indeed, with its pure water and bright stars, it was a pale rich with memories both frustrating and how. See, every time I play a Type Moon game, they teach me a new word. What is it? That's not it. No, don't use my location. Wait, how do you spell it? How? Wait, it's this one. It's this one. Forget it. That was only during summer, though. Winters in those mountains were extremely frigid, each morning more severe than the last. Wait, the music's fire! Her father would drive her to the train station after waiting 10 minutes for the engine to warm up and the iced-over windows to clear. I like the art. Her father would savor this morning coffee, leaving her to venture outside and rev the engine. Out the front door she would go, traversing the garden with icy breath until she reached that old sedan. As always, she inserted the key, then started the ignition. The engine rumbled to life. Just as she proudly finished that humble task she'd done so many times before. Alright, a shrill scream pierced the air. She knew, even though it wasn't human, that the feeble sound was a cry of agony. A few moments passed. Her father came out and opened the hood of the car. Creaking fan belts, a monstrous-looking engine, and something that didn't belong. There was a cat, a mother by the looks of it, and her 2 kittens. The 3 cats had been huddling for warmth in the engine's compartment. The mother was missing its head. One of the kittens had been mangled beyond recognition by the engine belts and surely died instantly. The other kitten, its face half covered in blood, panted faintly. It desperately clung to its mother, or rather the chunk of meat that had been its mother, the last bit of life it could muster. Her father lamented their plight. The previous night had been especially cold. After he had returned home yesterday, the cats must have snuck under the hood, drawn by the warmth of the engine. They had slept next to the engine and awoken to a storm of spinning belts. Cars in the 80s were not sealed particularly well, so this was not unheard of. Also, this game is set in the 80s. Can I hide the taskbar? I gotta go through a whole settings. Hold up. Yo, the music is amazing. The music is amazing. How do I turn off? There we go. Okay, let's immerse. And it's back. Her father's voice seemed distant. She could only make out a small tuft of the kitten's gray fur. The rest of it was caked in the blood of its mother and brother. I can see its skull. The fragile life of a speckled kitten. Trembling and possibly blind, it continued to nuzzle against its dead mother's chest.
待ちなさい。
She took the kitten into her arms and ran deep into the mountains to her grandfather's house. Was it because she was overcome with regret? Or was it the shock of grief? Years later, she still wasn't sure. Fighting back the welling tears, she burst into her grandfather's workshop. Her grandfather was a magician who could do anything. She had never seen magic. She knew that magic was a fantasy straight out of fairy tales, but so was her grandfather. She had to find him. He was the only one who could help.
その子猫の運命を変えろという。
Fate? Stay night? The cave-dwelling magician said indifferently. This kitten needs our help, she pleaded. Whether it was... Hold up. What the heck is this? What is this? Wait, let me quick save. I need to make sure that they actually play the voice of the main character, because in Fate Stay Night they didn't. I mean, who am I even looking at here? We got yeah, okay. Y'all hear that music though? Why is the frame so low? Okay, whatever. Whether it was chill or Herculean labor, her grandfather would not stay. He simply granted the girl's childish wish like a machine. Okay. Oh no, the girl said. Before she knew it, however, she was holding a tiny corpse in her hands. Its fur was cold. The warmth of life had left its body, and the tears she had fought so hard to hold back poured from her eyes. Regret spread through her chest like an endless gray sky.
トロだったな。結局元に戻すと。
Her mind struggled to come to grips with what had just occurred. The last 10 minutes were a total blank. Who she met, what she had known, it was all as if it never happened. The only thing she was sure of was that life, once extinguished, can never return.
そこに誰かいるの?
Is that, Ilya? That day. It was her mistake that gave birth to me. Indeed. Whatever occurred that day, it was a day of nostalgia and longing. This is a fairy tale of 8 years ago, the day they first met, that no magic can ever bring back. Okay, transition. It's saving. Arrogant, greedy, and able to destroy, I must be a wolf. I don't have regrets. There's no looking back. If my pride has left you behind, my sincere condolences. But at any rate, I suppose it's my fate to die at the hands of the Little Red Riding Hood. Where's she going? Strange One, chapter 1, Strange One. Do I gotta click? Okay. The art is great. It was a quiet morning. Is this supposed to still be down here? Oh, it's going away. There it is. From her bed, she could see the sky was an ashen watercolor gray. The thermometer displayed 43 degrees Fahrenheit, or rather unforgiving temperature for November. It's not that bad. Her stomach woke her up with a growl, pathetically reminding her that she had completely missed breakfast. But lazy mornings like today were, for her, a blessing. It was already well past 8 in the morning. On any ordinary weekday, tardiness would be unavoidable, but today, classes were canceled in commemoration of the school's anniversary. Gratefully, she had every intention of taking it easy for the first time in ages. Outside the window was a gloomy gray, and it reminded her more of evening than morning. It wasn't a pleasant morning by any stretch of the imagination, but having been up all night until 3 hours ago, she couldn't care less about the weather outside. All she cared about was more sleep. As long as she could spend her morning in bed, What was happening outside was no concern to her. She shut the curtains, then closed her eyes and tried to let sleep reclaim
せ
her.
めてあと2時間ぐらいは凡庸な夢を見ていられますように。
Blissful slumber found her soon enough. Her consciousness faded. However, her simple request would be mercilessly refused. A faint but shrill sound lingered in her ears. It was the unmistakable ring of a telephone. Much to her chagrin, her eyes popped open out of habit.
こんな日に限って。
The telephone was situated in the foyer on the first floor. Answering it meant walking down a 30-foot corridor and going down a flight of stairs. In her sleep-deprived state, that distance seemed somewhere between incredibly far and astronomically far. The phone's incessant ringing continued. She knew the caller would eventually give up if she ignored it, but she chose to fight the urge.
アリス出ないの？
She thought her house... Yo, who texted me? Okay. Oh, dang, that's loud. I'm working. Stop texting me. D&D. There we go. She thought her housemate would get it, but she soon had to abandon all hope. The realization struck that her housemate did not have the day off from school and was likely in class at her prestigious little hilltop academy. The caller proved incredibly persistent. That persistence made the volume of the ringing seem even louder.
ああ、もうせっかくの安眠を。
Bro, you better hurry. You better move. Dang. She was left with no choice but to get up, throw on a top, and leave the room. Is that a bug on my computer? Sorry. She rubbed her hands together to warm her numb fingers. The mansion's heating system was inadequate, to say the least, which meant that winter was the very worst of the uninvited guests. Never more so than on a dreary morning as this, when one didn't need to use a thermometer to know how cold it was. It's 40 degrees, it's not that cold. It's not freezing. The mansion sat in the mountains and was surrounded by a dense forest. Winter always arrived here first before moving on to nearby towns. The robotic ring of the telephone reverberated throughout the long hallway. The mansion's furnishings had been so perfectly maintained that it made the place feel unlived. It seemed lonelier than... Is that how you... Okay. Then it did splendid. Okay. Coupled with a dreary morning, it could have passed for a haunted house.
ま、幽霊屋敷そのものだけど、だいたい2人で住むには広すぎるのよ、この家は。
Yeah, y'all need a little apartment. Y'all don't need that big mansion. Dang! She counted more than 30 rings since it first began. The caller either had a lot of free time on their hands or had a good understanding of the house's circumstances. I've never played Mahoyo, but this seems pretty similar to the prologue of Fate Stay Night with Rin waking up to some ringing. Oh, did she do that? I completely blocked the prologue from my mind. It was so boring. The window above looked out onto a gloomy sky. She hastened to catch the unrelenting ring in the act as soon as possible, though she had a feeling that her happy morning might come to a close the moment she caught it. It was here that a series of incidents began. Apologies for the lack of romance to this tale. What? The author's like, hey, there's no routes with pick your girlfriend. Okay, this is serious. For whether it is to be objectively true or merely supposition, it is always from gloomy and unassuming beginnings that extraordinary events are set into motion. I think he's saying that, sorry, my story is boring at the beginning, but it'll lock in. Holy Sigma Serpent Surf stream before GTA 6. Yeah, you're banned. See ya. Takeuchi Kinoko Nasu. Opening movie. Scenario? Nasu. Girl, did she pick up the phone? What is she doing? Original art, character design, graphics, director, Koyama Hirokazu. Hello, Servicer, how are you? I'm great, That Dragon. How's it going? Who's ready to stream? Who's ready to read? I'm glad people are actually chatting. Script and director, Tsukuri Bonoji. See, like, seeing all these different people work on a visual novel is just so fun. Because when you're doing one solo, it is so stressful. Music, Hideyuki Fukazawa Keitahaga. Chat, are we ready? Are we ready for this adventure? What's up, Iffy Stratos? How's it going? Oh, Happy New Year, everyone. Oh, yeah, Happy New Year, guys. First video of the year is a live stream. Can you believe it? Lead background artist. Oh, that's a EU. How is everybody's New Year? Aoko Aozaki. The game looks pretty. I'm kind of really excited because I feel like when I played Fate, it was kind of like it was mostly characters against a background, like the portraits, and then there was a background, and it was kind of the same few scenes. But this game seems very like artistically driven. Like, I feel like there's going to be a lot of cool things to look at. My New Year's has been good. How about yours? It was pretty good. I wanted to go to sleep, low-key. I didn't want to stay up all night. Also, I don't know why my frame rate is so low. I don't know if that's like a settings that I have to fix. Or why it's not full screen. But anyway. Witch on the Holy Night. Oh. I think I skipped the... Wait. Let me check if there's a settings that is causing my frame rate. Oh, cool. Aoko Aozaki. Okay. Oh, here we go. Full screen. That's better. Right? Now I can't check if you guys can hear anything. I'm just going to assume you can. Oh, I gotta get some water. Okay. Let's do this. The rain had subsided somewhat by the time she reached the school gate. Sunlight seemed to be playing peekaboo behind the clouds in the distance. It looked like it might be cleared up by early afternoon.
と言っても、私には関係のない話だけど。
Who was she talking to? The weather reflected her luck. On top of being forced out of the house at such an early hour, she had to suffer through a winter rain. I'm getting a bad feeling about this. The sinking feeling she had only... Who's I'm? Who is I'm? The sinking feeling she had only grow as she passed through the entrance and headed inside. She didn't encounter any students along the way, nor did she see anyone taking part in club activities either. The reception desk to the faculty room simply read, "Faculty closed." The school had given all of its students the day off, except those explicitly summoned, like her. A fact that irked her more and more as the minutes passed. She opened the door to the faculty room and headed towards the desk she had visited a number of times before. The man at the desk wore a plain shirt, and suit that were nonetheless neatly pressed. Slim-framed glasses adorned his face, giving off an amicable yet cunning air. The mild-mannered image this mid-20s man presented clashed with the cigarettes he smoked. He didn't... Okay. Don't do that. Okay. He didn't appear to have noticed...
Yamashiro-sensei.
Yamashiro. She closed the door with a bang, showing no response to the sudden sound. Mr. Yamashiro lifted his head.
やあ、おはよう、青崎くん。要件は聞いているかな？
はい。1時間前に自宅で、事前に何の相談もなく。
Having graduated from this high school himself, Mr. Yamashiro was not much older than the rest of his students. Holy hell, he's fine. Dude. Dude, no he's... No. For that reason, the students preferred him over the other teachers. He always had something interesting to talk about and kept conversations casual. In fact, he seemed more like an older student than a teacher, but she unfortunately didn't share her fellow students' fondness for him. Calm down. Shut the heck up, bro. We're not even like 20 minutes in and you're simping. She was of the opinion that teachers should come across as more austere, like an iron fist that could inspire both love and hate in equal measure, not a buddy to joke and pal around with. He was the exact opposite of how she felt a teacher should be. It was only natural that her manner towards him would be forced and unfriendly. Not that she'd ever been wired to make friendly small talk.
今日もご機嫌斜めみたいだね、君は。
それは先生の気のせいです。今日だけ特別という話ではありませんから。
The matter-of-fact answer perfectly matched the displeasure displayed on her face. Her bad mood from having to get up early and the tiredness from staying up late must have collectively made her look positively adversarial.
そうならいいんだけどね。彼にはそう辛く当たらないでくれよ。僕らじゃ正直どう扱っていいかわからないところもあるし。
What's up? Omji's a Shiro person. Yeah.
先生、その件ですけど、私まだ詳しい話を聞かされていないのですが。
As Mr. Yamashiro met her piercing eyes, he finally understood the reason behind her tone and slowly put down the cigarette. Remember, this is the 80s. They could smoke
電
back
話じゃ
then.
なんて聞いたの？
転入生の紹介をするとだけです。理由も脈絡もない説明でした。
Okay, we're going to meet a new character, it seems. One of Mr. Yamashiro's eyebrows stood up, impressed by the brevity of her answer. He could see that she was angry, not because she had been called to school on her day off, but because she hadn't been told why she was here. Mr. Yamashiro chuckled sympathetically.
先生、これが笑い話ならそろそろ帰っていいでしょうか。
いや、ごめん謝るよ。冗談じゃなくて真面目な話なんだ。ちょっと君の手を借りたくてね。
本当に転入生の問題で？
うん、訳ありというか難しいというか。
Okay, it's a dude.
彼、宗十郎くんと言うんだけど、ちょっといろいろとずれていてね。僕らが案内してあげるより同世代の君の方が適任だと思ったんだ。
She threw him an unamused look. If it was negligent of them to be pushing teaching duties on her, but she did wonder how exactly this transfer student was peculiar. Maybe he meant the student had behavioral problems or was difficult somehow? But peculiar, she didn't have the slightest idea what that meant.
ずれてるなんてそう使わない表現だけど。
She had her doubts, but swept them aside for now. This wasn't the time to get distracted by more concerns. The fact remained that this conversation was all the peculiar she could handle, and she needed more information. She was already beginning to fantasize about saying no and curling up in her warm bed at home. That's so
一つ
real.
質問があります。
They both so passive-aggressive with each other, definitely. I have a question.
何？あ、
Well, this guy's not
学年
passive
は君と
aggressive.
同じ
He's
2年
having
生
a
だよ。
great time.
性格は落ち着きがあって
He's having a great
人の話をよく聞くタイプ。裏を返せば覇気がないとも取れるけど、それならそれで付き合いやすいだろ。
Bros
青崎
agree.
君とはクラスは違うけ
The
ど、き
teacher?
っと仲良くな。
How is the teacher a creep? How is the teacher? What is he doing? I'd also be if I was called in on my day off. Oh yeah, definitely. That's the thing though. They just like called her for 30 minutes straight, and she's laying in bed, and they're like, "Hey, come to the school. We got to talk to you on your day off, and it's raining and it's winter." Did you see where he was staring? Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got it.
そういったことは本人から直接聞きますし、測ります。そうではなく、なぜ私なんでしょうか。
Though her tone was still stern, it was clear that she was willing to cooperate. She had decided to put her feelings of dissatisfaction aside and focus on the task at hand. Forcing herself to act empathetic in spite of her self-absorbed nature was something she was used to. Paradoxically, this force of will was also the reason teachers put so much faith into her. To a point. At times, that strength shattered expectation, and on those occasions, they were left with no choice but to treat it like a natural disaster and weather it until it passed. That was how Mr. Yamashiro had come to deal with her as over the past
もう
year.
一度だけ聞きます、山城先生。それで、なぜ私なんでしょうか。
Are we team? What's her name? Aoko? Pressured by a question without a clear yes or no answer, he answered.
うん、それはね。
Yeah, you're right. He's having a blast pissing her off. Staring, his eyes are closing. Honestly, I don't think he was staring at her chest. I think I don't know why it zoomed in on her chest, but
別に青崎君が先生方に敬遠されているのと同じぐらい信頼されていて、学校のためなら教師も生徒も一緒くたに切って捨てる鉄の生徒会長だからじゃないよ。
それ以外にこんな呼びつけを受ける理由はないと思いますけど。
her eyes did nothing to hide her disbelief as she glared at him. Strength far beyond that of an ordinary 17-year-old girl, coupled with the youthful beauty of one. Mr. Yamashiro let slip a genuine smile, admiring their miraculous balance of qualities.
いや、責務だけでいいなら僕がやってるさ。この人選に関しちゃ教師や生徒会長といった役職も関係ないよ。なんていうか、こんな頼みを損得抜きで聞いてくれるのは君だけだと思ってね。適任ですからと強く推薦したわけ。
Okay, so Aoko is someone who will do stuff for teachers. In other words, he knew she wouldn't say no.
山城先生。
うわ、怖っ。もう睨まない睨まない。
She's
言ったろ、
yeah, she's not happy.
僕にはともかく彼には笑顔でって。とまあ納得してくれたならすぐに移動しよう。もうずいぶん待たせてしまっているからね。
Would you guys say yes to meeting or helping a transfer student get used to the school?
それと
If
雨
they
の中
called
ご苦
you
労
on the
様。
weekend to do it?
帰りはもちろん車で送るよ。
Mr. Yamashiro stood up gracefully. I'm good, thanks, she replied before turning and walking out of the faculty room. He had been waiting for about an hour. While he did, the rain shower lightened into a drizzle. His mind wandered as he listened to the sound of the raindrops. They're doing that thing of keeping the face just out of frame for the main character, I think. Yeah, I think so too. We haven't seen her face at all. Although, if you want to see her face, I think it's literally right here. So, the room was filled with neatly arranged rectangular tables. He was the only one there. Quite some time had passed since he had been brought to this room and asked to wait. Even the best behaved student might have grown dissatisfied or anxious with the situation by now, but the boy stuck to his spot like a scarecrow. He was chilled to the bone. It was the end of November, and the low temperature in the morning had marked the start of winter. The room was not much warmer. The heater hadn't been turned on. Either he'd missed the teacher telling him to turn it on, or he'd never seen one in his life. He breathed lightly on his freezing fingers as he aimlessly surveyed his surroundings. This dreary place was apparently a meeting room. The other students might have considered it a wonderful place to meet, but to him it was drab and overly spacious. It was a lifeless place that reminded him of an arid cave. Stuck in this cold room with absolutely nothing to do, his mind turned to what they wanted to discuss. Unable to come up with a solid answer, he returned his attention to the sound of the rain. The rain hardly resembled the rain in the mountains, though he could still recognize it, barely. Its smell and sound were harsher, but at the end of the day, rain was still rain. So even this world, alien as it was, could have something in common with the mountains. That trivial detail perked him up a little. He liked how the town looked soaked in rain. Naturally, he preferred sunny weather, but he liked rain in its own way. The fog from the rain had soaked up the scent of soil, and it reminded him of home. It was at times like these that he was able to numb the anxiety the city gave him. So he's not a city guy, he's from the mountains. But then he let out a discouraged sigh. How pathetic. He'd already been here 2 weeks, and thoughts of his hometown still made him sad. Perhaps feeling that he was being unfair to his new life, he composed himself and continued to wait patiently. As if having a passion for distractions, his attention returned to the sound of the rain once more. Waiting like this didn't seem to be particularly hard for him. He quietly endured the numbing cold and the hour alone with calm, deep breaths. As the saying goes, good things come to those who wait. A strong point of his or not, he was astonishingly patient. It was certainly helping him out in this moment. He's about to meet a girl, so let's see how he reacts. Okay, never mind. She, on the other hand, was livid. The profile of the transfer student had been explained to her on her way to the meeting room. She was told he had lived his whole life up in the mountains without any electricity. That meant more than half of civilized society would have been an utter mystery to him.
なんて絶望的な断絶。戦後どころか戦前の話じゃない。ロビンソンにも程がある。
Who's Robinson? Oh wait, it's probably an 80s reference, because this game is set in the 80s, guys. She had every right to be angry. Where's Artoria at? Bro, if you don't take your butt back to Fate, bro, we're reading Mahoyo, Witch on the Holy Night. Better take your butt back to Fate, eh? And your band. His village had apparently remained isolated in the mountains for many years. Contact with villages in the foothills of the mountains only occurred once a month or so, which was unfathomable in modern Japan. Although expressways in Japan the old national railways, now spanned the country like arteries, it wasn't entirely impossible for mountain villages like his to exist. But she couldn't imagine how someone born to such circumstances would think or live.
電気がないって、村に行き渡っていないだけで公衆電話ぐらいはあったんですよね。
なかったそうだよ。こっちに暮らすようになってまず驚いたのが電話だそうだし。電話って便利ですねなんて真顔で言われてね。そういえばそうだなぁと再確認させられたぐらいだよ。
This dude has never seen a telephone before. Fate is better than this garbage. I need my Shiro and Saber back. Then watch my VODs. You never even played the game to call something trash. Yo, Cook. We're modding you. She saw the sidelong glare his way as he laughed. It seemed that the naivete of this country boy had cheered up Mr. Yamashiro a bit.
駐在もいないってことか。 うちも実家は山奥ですから、電気が通っていないのはありえないとは言いませんけど。
Well, you live in a mansion.
そいつ、学校も知らないんですか？
うん。どんなものかは知っていたそうだけど、
He's
実際
heard of
来るのは
schools, but
今
he's
日が
never
初めて
been
だ
to
し、
one. Oh, he's cooked.
それで緊張していたのかな。あまり会話も弾まなかった。
Dang, that's harsh. I hope it's that there. Bro's addicted. I don't usually play these types of games, but I enjoy watching you. Thank you, Dad Dragon. I don't usually play them either, but I kind of got. I don't know. I could be streaming like. I'm gonna stream like Fate Extra Record when it comes out. That's gonna be my next thing. But you guys let me know if you want me to stream more Fate Stay Night, because we got 2 more routes to do and a bunch of endings to get. I have this game. It's just pure trash. Even trash is an insult to actual trash. Yeah.
ああいうのも野生児っていうのかな。狼に育てられた狼少年みたいな。あ、いや、探検隊の話だね。
Is he serious? Yo, who is this kid?
怖いな、青崎くん。冗談だって。そう睨まないでくれ。
You ever played Mass Effect? I've not. Although I have heard of it. Games I've been playing recently are gacha games. Zenless Zone Zero, and I've been doing the Bloodborne DLC. And I'm waiting for Elden Ring Night Rain. Guys, should I stream the beta? I signed up for the newsletter, so if I get to play the beta and I get to record it, I might do some gameplay videos on that. I don't know if you guys watch Elden Ring. Stream Lolita Goth Made Games Trust. I'm so close to banning Rifley. Rifley, dude, there's a pretty good rage bait, and that one was pretty obvious, and waste of time. Golly. What about Ananta? I've not heard of that. Actually, I've never heard of that. What is it?
大丈夫。話してみた感じ、おとなしい子だったから。なんていうか、言葉の通じない小動物みたいな感じ？
A cute little animal that doesn't speak human.
山城先生、その例え気休めになってませんから。
Cook. As she gave her blunt reply, she tried to simulate in her mind what life without electricity would be like, but the thought of it took her sour mood from bad to worse. After all, it was a world she had never known. She could understand why teachers had given up. She too wanted to give up and return to her warm bed, but her good-for-nothing pride was holding her hostage. Not only did the teachers believe she was up to the task, but she also believed she could do it. It wasn't that easy to go back on her word, no matter how bad things looked after the fact. She walked along the hallway, the rain pattering in the background. The meeting room was already in sight. With a furrowed brow, she fixed her long hair in anticipation of meeting the unknown stranger within. Her elegant strides were like those of a confident general going into battle.
いや、青崎くん、君を信頼してる僕だけど、念のため確認しておくよ。なんていうか、優しくね。できれば笑顔とか作れないかな。
作り笑いは苦手です。一応努力しているつもりですが。
ああ、そうなんだ。それはよかった。
Oh, you know what I need to stream? I need to stream Fate Extella. I gotta finish Fate Extra. Fate Extella, oh, you know, that might kill my computer. I'm not gonna hold you. What are y'all talking about in chat? How about you fix your grammar, then you call it rage bait? Those who know. Oh my god. Ananta is basically GTA 6 Online plus Spider-Man with the gacha art style and features from gacha games before GTA 6. Wait, I think I saw a trailer for it because people on Twitter were cooking it for like stealing the animation from Spider-Man. I think I saw a character from it. I was like, that character looks cool. But I didn't want to install a whole new gacha game. I already play some. I play Zenless Zone Zero, Honkai Star Rail, Fate Go. I downloaded Girls Frontline 2, but I haven't really played it. I have it, but I don't play it. What else do I play? I think that's it. I had Nikkei when it first came out, but I don't play that anymore. Well, we're gonna have Fate Extra record pretty soon, so yeah. I'm playing Fate Extra. I started streaming it, and I don't know. I didn't think people liked watching it, so I stopped streaming it. I'm almost done with the game, though. It's just a lot of grinding. Mr. Yamashita's shoulders slumped the second they reached the meeting room. As he put his hand to the door, his eyes seemed to say to her, "Be nice, please." This only made her more irritated.
分かってるわよ。愛想が悪いってのは。でも笑顔なんて意識して作るものじゃないんだし。だいたいそういうインスタントな人付き合いなら飛び丸の方が向いてるって。
Should have asked Tobimaru. She sighed about her social shortcomings, but then it occurred to her that being called into school on a day off while sleep deprived wasn't anything to smile about anyway. She also thought the person responsible for this mess would be better off attending elementary school. Honestly, you're right. Surprised he speaks Japanese. It might not be his fault, but neither was it her duty or obligation to do the teacher's work for them. At the very least, they could have used her brains and organized all this on a normal school day. Another complaint she wanted to voice later.
いや、というか敵。なんであろうと敵。悪いけど、情状酌量以前に敵。間が悪いのはお互い様っていうか、ほんと、なんでよりにもよってこんな忙しい時に。
I've seen some of the hangout cutscenes from Girls Frontline 2 and Shameless. I have not. But I can imagine they're like, oh, what's the word? Yeah. Well, people are kind of waiting for the remake, so that's probably why. Honestly, yeah. I don't even know if it's worth playing the original, but I'm almost done with it. I'm going to try to play CCC, Fate Extra CCC, and Extella. Because I bought Extella and Extella Link and the DLC. I haven't downloaded it yet, so I can get a full refund if I want. But I bought it because I was like, oh, I'm going to stream this. And I never streamed it. Like, I bought it all the way back in, like, November. Are you going to watch Death of a Unicorn with Jenna next year? Definitely. That movie has Jenna in it, so obviously I got to watch it. And does it have Aaron Taylor Johnson or Bill Skarsgård? It's one of those guys. But I'm definitely going to watch that. I haven't done a review on, like, an actual, like, person, like a live action thing in a while. Like, I've only done anime stuff for the last, like, 6 months. Her pounding headache from a lack of sleep had boosted her aggression by 10%. No matter how harmless the guy on the other side of the door may be, anyone who disturbed her sleep was the enemy. And just as she was reaching peak annoyance, Mr. Yamashita opened the door to the meeting room. The room slowly slid into view. She didn't care for formalities. She just looked straight ahead and stormed into that room, and found herself face to face with the most unusual opponent. Before we go in, let's see from another perspective. Wait, I gotta go through that whole thing again? Oh my god. Oh, Shadow Eclipse, what's going on? What's up? Guys, let's leave. Serpents are in 2024. Why are you modded? Like, why are you modded? Like, actually. I gotta fix that. Gotta make sure you are not modded. Turning back the clock just a little. For some, these words are a priceless luxury. For others, they are unbearable torture. For the proactive girl, it was definitely the former, though she'd be too suspicious of the motives of anyone giving her such a gift to accept it. For the passive boy, it was definitely the latter, a bitter thorn that made him homesick, though at this very moment, his mind was still distracted with the wait for his face to reveal any discontent. 'Cause you have it to me after hours of begging on Discord, you femboy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, like, what are you talking about? Okay, okay. Yeah. What is this? Okay. Like, actually, what are you talking about? He already waited a whole hour, but figured they must have had their reasons for making him wait. And as long as he had the sound of the rain to soothe him, he could keep on waiting.
でもそろそろ9時を過ぎるのか。どうなんだろう。
I'm surprised he knows how to read a clock, to be honest. He had been vaguely keeping track of time as he listened to the rain. Oh, he's been counting the seconds himself? Oh, he's the goat. Due to the holiday, the school building was completely silent, except for the patter of the rain on the window. The mood felt as damp as the air. It was then he heard the heavy clatter of footsteps
よ
approaching.
かった。忘れられているかと思った。
That's why you suck at... Okay. Ripley, you gotta chill out. Like, actually. Finally, I thought they'd forgotten about me. You could hear two sets of footsteps, one heavier set belonging to an adult. He breathed a sigh of relief as the door slid open.
すまないね。随分とお待たせしちゃって。
The first person he saw was a man wearing glasses and an awkward smile. That's Mr. Yamashiro, the one who brought me
っ
here.
てあれ里中先生いないんですか？ひどいな。
Oh, you're supposed to have somebody with
話し
him?
相手になってあげた
That
と言ったの
person
に。
left. They're like, screw you. Mr. Yamashiro scratched his head, looking increasingly apologetic. And then, from behind him, with a tight-lipped expression that made it clear she didn't want to be there. Ripley, stop, it's not working, you're just embarrassing yourself. Yo, cook. Like, Sigma boy, Sigma... Like, what are you talking about, Ripley? Like, what are you talking... Like, actually, what are you doing? A dark-haired girl with a determined look in her eyes appeared. Okay, music. Soujuurou gulped. The sound of rain on the window faded into nothingness. That's when he knew. This was how it felt when time stood still. Oh, it's her face! She blinked quickly a few times as if taken aback. Why was it anyone's guess? The boy was everything she expected a naive country boy to look like. However, she felt something she couldn't understand. His eyes widened slightly as if taken aback. The reason was obvious. Putting his feelings into words was a different matter altogether, so we will never know exactly what he expressed at the moment. What is going on in my chat? Like, guys, what is going on in my chat? What is, like, look at this. What is this? Here. Remove as standard mod. I need to, Ripley, I'm gonna, you gotta chill out in chat. You're disrupting the immersion from everybody else. I'm gonna put you in timeout. I can do that, by the way. That's when it hit him. He sensed he'd been touched by the hands of destiny.
紹介するよ。彼が転入生の静木宗十郎くん。
Is his suit a different color?
で、こっちの彼女が静木くんの案内役。うちの生徒会長で休日を押して新しい仲間の案内役を買って出てくれた
Do it
青
and
崎
you're
青子くんだ。
gay. What are you talking about? Ripley, what are you talking about? Like, actually, what are you talking about? Amount of emojis, that's what I'm saying. Should I put Ripley in timeout? Yeah. should I? I could put you. I could put you in a timeout corner for 5 minutes. Holy crap! Sorry, oh my goodness! It like deleted everything. Oh wow! I didn't mean. I didn't know that actually worked. Well, those who know. Anyway. Be sure to leave a like on the stream, guys, if you're enjoying thus far. Chat empty now. I know, I kind of miss... I kind of miss... No random emojis, I guess. His voice and the sound of the rain seem distant. This is how they first met. Such was their start, for better or worse, like the ephemeral beauty of fireworks. I think they like each other. I don't know. I think they have a crush on each other. And I gotta add. It was commonly believed among the students that Aoko was always in a foul mood. Yo, what is her problem? But this gossip was 90% prejudice, as Aoko simply didn't have time to be irritated for 24 seconds, or 24/7. The reality was she simply didn't want to explain herself all the time, and therefore seemed angry about something, obvious or not. This idle gossip did, however, lead her to earning the title of one of the school's 7 deadly threats. The remaining 10% of the gossip was right on the mark. Aoko herself often had the feeling that her tendency to feel animosity towards harmless things was akin to what a chronic headache sufferer might experience. Today fell under that 10%, for today her anger was pure, and her childish and selfish display was befitting of her actual age. The meeting room was dimly lit, awash in the colors of the rain. To reduce electricity costs, school regulations forbid the use of lights during the day. Okay. This was a setting the three of them found themselves in. Her first impression was that his calm demeanor reminded her of a field of wildflowers. In spite of his perfect posture, his overall air felt placid, tame even. And though describing him as meek would be going too far, at the very least he was passive. Even through his uniform, she could see that he was thinner than average. His dark hair was unkempt, and he came across as a wholly forgettable boy. If she had to look at him in a more positive light, she would describe him more a young man than a boy. It was his calm demeanor that made him seem more mature. That was because of Ayoko's reasonless... Was that the cause of Ayla's... Wow. You guys can read that, I can't. He seemed almost too at home in the meeting room, and she was left with the impression that it was her and the teacher, not this outsider, who were the guests here. But I will agree that this beginning part is longer than it should have been, in my opinion. Oh, I agree too. This is really long. I didn't know how many chapters I wanted to read on the first stream, but I guess it's gonna be one. Soujuurou is the most base character in this game. Really? She felt an unidentifiable aggravation building within her, almost as if her right to be here was it in question. Aoko felt herself raising her natural defenses.
信じられない。私、今わけもなく怒ってない。
She hated not understanding things, her own emotions in particular. It painted her less than you would imagine for a perfectionist like her, but it still nagged her like a thorn in her side. I should have warmed up before I started reading today.
ほら、青崎くん、挨拶してあげなくちゃ。
Yo, buddy, why are you laughing so much, bro? Yo, Mr. Yamashita's attempt to relieve the tension was equally irritating.
挨拶?
After casting a nasty glance in the teacher's direction, Aoko turned to face the boy. From an outsider's perspective, it might have looked like a stare down. And in that instant, the culmination of her emotional state hurtled toward the innocent boy and skewered him. I enjoyed his interaction with Alice than with Aoko. I want to meet Alice so bad.
しずきくん。
The whole reason, not the whole reason, part of the reason I'm playing this is because a cosplayer who dressed up as Alice told me to play this game, and I was like, okay, sure. Again, sorry for the wait, Suzuki. Hearing his name, Soujuurou came to his senses. His stunned gaze shook loose. He took a deep breath to clear his head. Chalking it up to nerves, Mr. Yamashiro broke out a smile and turned to the girl standing beside him.
紹介するよ。彼が転入生の静木宗十郎くんで、こっちの彼女が静木くんの案内役。うちの生徒会長で休日を押して新しい仲間の案内役を買って出てくれた青崎青子くんだ。
She looks pit like she's got like she looks angry just by standing here. Having been introduced by Mr. Yamashiro, the girl took a step forward. Her eyes were merciless. Her stare, an unspoken threat to violently trample her opponent. And this dude, there's probably like 2 brain cells just like ping-ponging back and forth in his head. You can see it. Soujuurou, on the other hand, managed to keep his own composure despite the shock at how confrontational she appeared. He had never been greeted quite like this before, but supposed mistakenly that this was how people treated each other in the city. Yo, she is angry. This exchange must look quite dramatic to an onlooker. A girl ready to brawl, an earnest country boy desperate to understand. It was a murderous limbo, especially for anyone in the room with them. Like him. Like Mr. Yamashiro. While he had thought he had made the right decision in choosing an honor student to help him out, she was in inexplicably bad mood, and the tension in the air was undeniable. Well, she did get waken up on her day off, so... She's red? At this moment, it was at this moment that he realized his failure. His realization had come far too late. One false move, and this girl, for whom no problem was too large, would become a storm that would rock the very foundations of the school. Just as the almighty Joker card could bring either fortune or disaster, the sole teacher who had been present at the time would come to bear the blame for the scandal that ensued.
いけてる。二人とも気は合うようだね。
Yeah, Aoko is always passive-aggressive with... And Soujuurou has 2 brain cells. It's not a wrong impression.
それじゃあ僕はこの辺でいいかな。
You're gonna leave them alone in the room? She's gonna pummel him! Mr. Yamashiro laughed nervously as he crept towards the door.
僕は職員室にいるから終わったら来るように。いいかい青崎くん。くれぐれもだぜ。なんていうか生徒会長としての度量の広さをこの際僕に信じさせてほしいかな。
Mr. Yamashiro left, leaving the 2 in a locked-eyed state, one in which one set of eyes was doing all the glaring. All that remained in the room was an artless boy and a cross-armed, guarded girl. The 2 lingered in silence. They resembled shogi players agonizing over their first move, though it was only Aoko who was reading so much into the situation. She decided to put her irritation aside for the time being. With no reason to feel revulsion for him in the first place, she sighed deeply and faced Soujuurou.
まあいいわ。山城先生がヒルアンドンなのは今に始まったことじゃないし。それで、あなた名前は？
Her tone was nothing if not reproachful, though he had done nothing to offend her. But the boy failed to pick up on it. Incapable of such venom himself.
ああ、静木宗十郎かな。君は青崎さんだったね。
Why there are 2? Oh wait, never mind. There are 2 in the other one. I'm Soujuurou Shizuki, he replied, and you're Miss Aozaki. For whatever reason, he came across as happy in his response.
さあはいいわ。柄じゃないから。こっちは静木くんでいい？
いいって何が？
Oh, he doesn't know.
だから呼び方。くんづけでいいかって聞いてるの。
Golly, she is not happy.
何よ？おかしなこと言った？私。
いや、すごく。
The boy replied immediately as if it was a natural response, but quickly second-guessed himself.
いやいいんだ。ごく一般的なんだろう。しずきくんで頼む。君は青崎でいいんだよな。
よろしく。
Suit yourself. Yoroshiku. She followed her blunt reply with a swift turn away from him. Yeah, she's out of there. She's going straight to the teacher's office. Hey, sensei, I just met the kid. He's boring. I'm sure he'll figure it out. I'm going back to my bed. Is she in the thick of it? Everybody knows. They know her when it snows. She skid in and they froze. She skied in and they froze. Okay. So fast at first name calling. I just think she does not care about calling him by his last name. She's not gonna remember that. And this dude doesn't even know about the custom. He's like, what do you mean it's okay to call me by my first name? Sure. While she was hardly thrilled at the prospect of the task at hand, it had been entrusted to her, and it was her personal policy to see it through to the end.
悪いけど、優しくしてあげる気はないから。
Oh, and she's not in the mood for pleasantries.
時間も惜しいし、手早く行くわよ。
それは助かる。やっぱり時間は大切だ。
Aoko's blunt rancor was lost on him once again. Humans tend to be overly conscious about being ignored, whatever form that takes. But despite being peeved at landing none of her attacks, Aoko did her best to act professional and directed her guest into the hallway. There was no sunlight in the hallway, nor any sign of life. This was more like a prison than a cave. That was the meeting room. As it dawned on Aoko that the hallway matched her mood, she sighed once again.
まず聞いておくけど、山城先生から聞いたことは理解してる？
ああ、学校の仕組みについては分かった。この建物全部に同い年の人間がいるなんて、ちょっと想像できないけど。
And they're younger kids.
そう、よかったわね。
Aoko rubbed her forehead. She had to explain to this guy what a school was. This Soujuurou kid had no idea what he was in for. Apparently, all he'd heard about school was that it was a place where a lot of people met to study. High school teachers imparted to students their knowledge in various fields of study, while fostering discipline and creativity. But never did Aoko imagine that she would have to explain the concept of school itself to someone. Yes, fundamentals were important, but this was absurd. She had serious doubts whether he could even handle classes, but Mr. Yamashiro insisted that things would work out somehow. Soujuurou had managed to pass the transfer exam after all, barely.
私には関係ないけど。
She digaff. Aoko grumbled mentally as she walked down the hallway. She consoled herself with the fact that today would be the only day she'd spend with this boy out of time, or at least she tried to keep it that way.
青崎、
He's asked, calmly trying to get her attention.
何？
こっちも一つ聞いていいかな。
What is school if not as prison for the mind? Yo, you're cooking, that's a bar. Wait.
だから何？
俺の気のせいだと思うん
This
だ
is
が
high、school. I'm
君はまる
14.
で
This is deep.
何かを睨んでいるように見える。
But you seem upset about something. And she was like glaring at
やはり
him.
今朝は悪いもので。
You're not a morning person. His gaze revealed earnest concern, as if asking her if she'd remembered to eat breakfast. Wait, can I go back to look at that, please? Wait. I can't? What is this? I need a controller? Who's playing with this? Oh, I guess this was on the Switch before it was on here. Bro, I'm not clicking that. That face is funny, though. It was like another hammer to her head. Oh my god! It was true that Aoko had been glaring at Soujuurou the whole time. Oh my. This is great. This is peak character design. Glaring red-hot daggers, in fact. Not just him, but the universe. Even on her best days, her roommate used to remark,
青子の視線は普通の人には厳しいわ。
was that Alice?
もう少し 多くのことに寛大になるべき。
Look at her face. She's so angry. Look how angry. Like she is so angry. She'd been warned that her emotions were so naked on her face that people treated her like a powder keg. How naive could the boy be that he could not pick up on this?
私をバカにしてるってわけじゃなさそうよね、この場合。
Even she found her own attempt to reassure herself unconvincing. It began to dawn on Aoko, far too late, that compared to her, this laid-back transfer student might as well have come from another planet.
いいわ、言葉にしないとわからないようだから言うけど、まるでじゃなくてズバリそうなの。
Well, it gives basis for how society works, but it's not a good place to study indeed. I feel like high school can be iffy, but college is when you get to pick what you want to study. Getting major Reen vibes. Me too. This is Reen if Shiro was like somehow more of an idiot. And this is Reen if they met, if Shiro and Reen met before they became masters, like way before. Another planet must be Australia. That would be cool though. Imagine if he was Australian.
あなたの気のせいじゃなくて、私は視線で遠回しに感情を表現してたの。いちいち声に出すのも会話にするのも面倒だから。
In response to her words, a Martian clapped his hand. Oh, he's from Mars. There you go.
なるほど。どうしてそうしたいのかはわからないが、確かにそっちの方が手っ取り早い意思表現だ。
Soujuurou accepted her reasoning without argument, though he still had no reason. He still had no idea what kinds of emotion she was trying to express. It was as if he could hear the words but didn't grasp the meaning. There is not a thought behind his eyes right now. Ideas that should have connected were instead separated into blocks.
確かにずれてるわ、こいつ。
Mr. Yamashiro's words made sense to her now. What was odd about this boy went way beyond naivety. Yeah. A stranger in a strange land he may be, but it was only civilized to forgive him some jet lag-induced confusion.
じゃ、とりあえずあなたの教室に行くから。
She had regained her composure. Soujuurou raised his hand and stopped in his tracks.
あと一つ。
Aoko waiting for Soujuurou to continue, the boy was patient to a fault. She rubbed her forehead with her hand again, nursing a vague feeling of uneasiness.
これもちょっとした疑問なんだが、なんで君は怒ってるんだ？
Aoko's a less refined version of Reen. She's much closer to a character from what Reen was inspired from, which is Asuka from Evangelion. Oh yeah, she does. Seem like Asuka. Yo, I need to rewatch Evangelion low-key. Should I do a video on Evangelion if I do another anime week? Random leg focus, I know. The artists love her legs. I've seen probably more shots of her legs and like chest than her face at this point. You're totally right, she does remind me of Asuka. They should make... Wait, what's the other girl's name? Alice? Will Alice be like, what's her name? Ayanami? Rei Ayanami? We'll see. What if this is just Evangelion but Type Moon? Like we have Asuka here, Shinji, Ikari, and Ayanami's gonna be Alice. Guys,
怒るのが商売とか、
chat.
そういう家柄の人なのか？
Luckily, Soujuurou is the opposite from Shinji. I'm glad you said luckily, because I only like Shinji in the rebuilt movies. Is it your line of business to be angry? Or does it run in your family? Like, why is he so stupid? A long silence. Though she knew it wouldn't change the situation, she remembered her regret at answering the phone that morning. He meant no harm. She repeated this thought like a mantra in an attempt to keep her impulses in check. She's ready to punch his face.
別にあなたのせいじゃないから気にする必要はないわ。ただ、この一瞬とお昼まで眠っていた場合を計りにかけたら、あまりに利益の違いがあって頭を抱えただけよ。
With that vague answer, she started to walk again, and turned her gaze away from this rude stranger named Soujuurou Shizuki. While what constitutes normal is certainly up for debate, most would undoubtedly refer to him as so. He was a simple and nice boy with nondescript features. If he were an ice cream flavor, he would be vanilla. Guys, look, more legs. And Soujuurou found Aoko to be very businesslike and full of life. There was a certain purpose to her movements, as they began and ended in an orderly fashion. The way her fingers raised when she pointed at things, the way she made her way across the hallways and classrooms, the way she would occasionally glance back at him to make sure he was keeping pace. Each and every movement was so impressive that he couldn't take his eyes off her. Do y'all think he likes her? Aoko showed him to his homeroom class, Class C of the 11th grade. The room certainly displayed more of a human touch than the previous meeting room, but Soujuurou was none the wiser to its function. Aoko gave a brief explanation before they visited individual subject classrooms, as well as a gym, cafeteria, locker room, and school infirmary. Soujuurou asked so many questions that much time passed before they reached the AV room on the second floor.
まずいな。
Yeah, it's kind of how it is. Luckily, Soujuurou is an exception because he's too based. What if she punched him and he'd be like, is this what... Yeah, he'd probably think... Oh, is that the culture here? Do I get to punch you now? Is that just how y'all do it in the city? Soujuurou stopped looking genuinely
あと20分
concerned.
経つと1時だ。
嘘でしょ。うちの校舎そんな広くないわよ。
Oh, is he hungry? The tour had begun around 10, which meant that 3 hours had passed. A tour of the school shouldn't take anywhere near this long. What have they been doing? I know he's been asking questions, but actually, how does it take 3 hours?
そうだったわね。
Oh,
行く先々で
Maybe
根
he
掘
was
り
like
葉掘り聞かれちゃ、
so
そりゃ
this
何時間
door
でも経
has
つわ。
a C
日
on
が
it.
暮れていないのが不思議なくらいね。
And that door has a B on it. What's the difference between a C and a B? Aoko glared at Soujuurou. She was being sarcastic, of course, knowing full well that he would never pick up on it. Is he gonna cry? To her surprise, he looked down apologetically, unable to hide his dejection.
なんだこいつ。
Oh, whoops. The guy before her now was nothing like earlier. In contrast to seeing his once impenetrable veneer when they first met, she found herself feeling sympathetic. Momentarily, at least, until her irritation returned in full force.
で、何がまずいの？覚えることが多すぎてパンクしたなんて言わないでね。
You didn't have to tell him that. He's
いや、
gonna
そ
take
れ
it
もあるけど、
seriously.
学校のことは別にして、
Oh my
1時になるとまずいんだ。
Soujurou's gaze wandered as if worried about something. If he was worried about the weather, he would have a hard time seeing it, as there were no windows in the
へ
hallway.
え、時間を気にするってことは用事があるのね。そう。人の予定を引っかき回しておいて、自分だけ好きなようにやろうって言うんだ。
Dang.
なんだ、顔に似合わずいい人ね、君。
いや、褒めても何も出ないぞ。
That's nice of you to say.
誰も褒めちゃいないわよ。
She yelled at him, unable to hold back her fury.
で、
This guy is clueless.
それで、一体何の用なの？
Soujurou's face lit up, as if he finally understood what she was
そ
asking.
こは秘密にしておきたい。
Is he serious? He said with a perfectly straight face, look at her. I need to make this the thumbnail. I don't know what I was thinking.
慣れ始めたつもりだったけど、こいつのこういったテンポに失神しそうになるわ。
Oh my god, she's amazing. Her frustration was natural. Still, she did everything she could to stifle her feelings and fake a smile.
しずきくん、
She took a step forward.
秘密だってば。
Feeling the mood change drastically, Soujuurou took a step back. And another, and another. No matter how many steps he took back, she kept edging toward him. She was smiling, but he thought he could see the blood boiling beneath her skin.
これ最後の質問にしとくわね。
Look at her smiling. If someone's mad at you and they're smiling, you're gonna get cooked. I'm just letting you know. If they're smiling like this, yeah, it's over. It's so
あ
over.
なた私をからかって楽しい？
He had no intention of mocking her, though at this point he doubted presenting any evidence to prove this would do much to erase that forced smile on
分か
her
った。
face.
説明する。
Oh no, I think he broke her. No, she's angry. His arms raised in surrender. She halted her advance and freed her face from that unseemly smile.
実は1時からアルバイトがあるんだ。でもここはそういうの禁止なんだろ？
Oh, he's just like Shiro. Shiro had a job. He worked at like, I don't know, video store. I forgot where he worked at.
そうだけど、あ、禁止されてるから秘密にしようと思ったの？バカね。それなら許可さえ下りていれば問題ないわよ。
知ってる。試験の時に許可をもらってる。
へえ。
Aoko's face lit up as she realized he might not be the piece of work she thought him to be. Yet.
しかし許可は一つしかもらえなかった。
Bro, how many jobs do you have?
一つってあなた掛け持ちでバイトしてるの？
これでも2件減らしたんだ。
He quit 2 of them.
生活費だけで大変なのに学費まで稼がなくちゃいけない。なのに働き先は一つだけというのはあんまりだと思わないか？
いや、あんまりなのはあなたの方だと思うけど。
He forgot school has actual schoolwork. Though still irritated, her opinion of him changed a little. She's still angry. I think this is her mutual face. She is like pissed off. She was impressed that he was able to take care of his tuition and living expenses all on his own. Man's grinding. Yeah, he's had 3 jobs. He's been stacking bread. She's got to stop hating. She has to stop hating because he's been stacking bread this whole time. She could also empathize with having no time to oneself. Her anger began to subside. The words part-time job were about the last thing she'd ever expect to hear out of this country boy's mouth.
そういうことなら仕方ないわね。いいわ、行きなさいよ。事情は分かったから。
青崎はいいのか？
Oh, she'll be fine. She's going to sleep. She had no idea what his question meant, but she at least understood he was trying to be considerate, which also took her by surprise. She figured he'd be just as dense about people's feelings as he was about everything else.
別に私もこのまま帰るから。
Golly. First, though, she thought it best that they both stop by the faculty room. Yoshiyama Shiro had mentioned that the transfer procedures had already been completed, so all that remained was for him to sign off on her duties.
先生、
She angry at default?
案内終わりました。
Look at even when she's smiling in the back, you can see her veins popping out at the top of her head. Like she is so angry.
それはお疲れ様。しずきくんもお疲れ様。それで校舎を回った感想はどうかな？
ありがとうございます。なんというかとても学校ですね。
It's like a real school. Buddy, you're at a real school.
そうかそうか。
What is he
明日から頑張りなさい。
What is his problem? She had no interest whatsoever in this pointless wrap-up meeting.
山城先生のことは気にしないでいいわ。
Yeah, she's going straight
教え
on.
子に厄介なことを押し付けてふんぞり返っているぐらい職員室が好きなんだから、何時間でも待ってるでしょ。いえ、待ってるべきじゃない？
そうか。青崎がいいんならいいんだな。
There it is again. Whatever Soujuurou was getting at, Aoko had no idea.
それじゃあ行くよ。今日はありがとう。
今日だけよ、今日だけ。
She shooed him away with her hand. His His face bent into a broad smile as if he found the gesture endearing. It was a softer expression than she had grown accustomed to seeing out of him. It was the kind of smile that would make anyone smile back. Well, most people at least. Aoko Aozaki didn't betray the slightest hint of a smile.
それじゃあまた。
Okay, to the people saying she was like the blueprint for Tosaka, this is literally one of Tosaka's expressions. Like, I'm so serious. This is like bar for bar Tosaka. Wait, you think I can find it? I'm so serious. Like, it's like, okay. So, the anime? Okay, great. Visual novel. Like, it's bar for bar. Okay. How much you want to bet she's going to make... Aoko's going to make this face at some point? I'm not finding it. There's no way I'm finding it. There's no possible way I'm finding it. Y'all have to believe me. You just have to trust me. You just have to trust me. Yeah, I don't think I'm finding it. And with that friendly farewell, Soujuurou walked toward the end of the hallway. Or so she thought before he turned into the next class over. Soujuurou headed straight for one of the classroom's windows. Is he gonna jump? Chilly. Oh, he wants some fresh air. The chilly November air filled the room as... What is he about to do? In that instant, she realized his intention with opening the window. She really wished she hadn't.
Yeah, mate!
He already had one leg out the window when she dashed to stop him.
何するつもりよ、あんたは。
何ってアルバイトに行くんだけど。
I'm leaving for my job, that's what. Hey, buddy. Use the front door. What is he doing?
その窓は人が出入りするところじゃないの。だいたいここ何階だと思ってるの？
She saw the light of understanding dawn in his eyes.
死ぬところだった。2階から降りたら危なすぎる。
I almost died. Who put an exit here? Buddy, that's not an exit.
危ないのはあんたの頭。
It's the lack of something between your ears that's dangerous. I'm gonna keep this line. This is an amazing line. Her insult went right over his head.
あのね、こっちじゃ窓から人は出入りしないの。さっき言っとくべきだったわ。
This dude's on the 3rd floor talking about, I'm going to my job, see you later. And he's gonna jump out the window. Like, what if he actually died? What is he doing?
知ってるよ。時間がないんで慌ててたんだ。ありがとう。これからは気をつける。
Golly. He pulled his leg back inside and closed the window. His school uniform was soaking wet from the rain.
いいけど、私は別に。あなたがどこから外に出ようが関係ないもの。ただ、できれば私の前ではやらないでほしいだけよ。
Like look at his eyes. You can tell there's just nothing behind those eyes at all. The way they drew him, it's so perfect. You can literally just see it.
それより、あなた、本当に明日から学校に来るの？
No wonder he got bandages. Yeah, he probably tried to like shave his like beard and just I don't even know what he did. Bro doesn't know he's depressed. Yeah, he instinctively went through the... I mean, it's not like he entered the school through the window. And I get that he was trying to save time, but this is nuts. Oh yeah, that would be a big time save. Yeah, imagine the game just ending right there.
来るよ。不安だけど案内してもらったし。
He's been here for at least 5 hours. He bid her farewell before running away down the hallway. She hoped he would walk down the stairs and leave through the school entrance like a normal person.
大丈夫なのか？あんなんで。
The image of him disappearing into the distance popped into her head in spite of her ear. ire. I haven't seen that word. This is so surreal as a Fate fan. It's like seeing the foundation for Rin and Shiro. I know, right? You have the you have the Asuka blueprint, or not blueprint, the Asuka clone, who is pissed off at everything, and then you have the idiot boy character, and then we'll see who Alice is similar to. I wonder if Alice is going to be like Rei Ayanami or more like Saber. We'll see. I have no idea what to expect from Alice. She had no intention of spending time with him. I don't think I read this. And yet she felt strangely anxious. She couldn't tell if the feelings was fueled by concern or irritation. Why she even gotten angry with this insignificant transfer student in the first place? A strange day with a strange transfer student resulting in strange emotions. Her head tilted as she reflected on what should have been a more enjoyable day than the irritating experience she just had.
いっか。どうせこれっきりなんだし。
Yeah, she's seeing him tomorrow. Well, Soujyuro is more of a blueprint for Kuzuki. Really? Okay. Sound of the rain echoed quietly all around her. The gray sky seemed frozen in time. Wait, Kuzuki, like, Caster's husband? Really? I guess I haven't read Unlimited Blade Works, so I don't know what Kuzuki's supposed to act like. I've only seen him in the anime and the Heaven's Feel movie Part 1. So I don't know if he acts the exact same, but that's interesting. I guess you gotta learn more about him. I don't know how long this chapter is. It was impossible to discern whether it was morning or evening. Mr. Yamashiro and Aoko were likely the only ones left at school. The unlit classrooms looked overly gloomy and ominous as Aoko stood in it alone. She pulled up her left sleeve. Her dainty, unremarkable watch showed that it was almost 1 o'clock.
時間合ってる。
She looked out the window at the grounds below. She saw a boy in uniform running through the rain without an umbrella, a sight she must have seen before, but for whatever reason, affected her far more than she wished. Alice is kind of a mix of both. They even have similar names, Soujuurou Shizuki and Soujuurou Shizuki. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, now that you mention it. They're literally, yeah, okay. But you did saw the anime, right? I did. Aoko did not stop by the faculty room before heading home. While Mr. Yamashiro's offer to drive her home was tempting, she decided it would ultimately be far more satisfying to ruin his day, just as he had hers. She is a certified hater. She's a goat. She walked as quietly as she could towards the entrance and opened up her bright red umbrella. As she predicted that morning, the rain was waning in the afternoon. At this rate, it would probably cease completely in an hour or so. The distant sunshine would likely have reached her by the time she arrived home.
ま、それも悪くないか。
She shrugged her shoulders in resignation. She neither liked nor disliked the rain, but she found herself enjoying her walk home with her red umbrella in hand. The teachers at Misaki High School weren't fond of bright colors, so Aoko's red umbrella was an unusual sight. A ghost story about how the umbrella was once pure white had been making rounds, but it featured Aoko instead of a ghost. It was with that umbrella that she made her way towards Misaki Station. Misaki Private High School took its namesake from the town it was in. The area was once a sprawl of farmland and woodland, but rapid growth over the last 10 years had led to unprecedented modernization. This is just like Fuyuki and Fate, how they had like the traditional neighborhood and then the modern neighborhood because they had to rebuild. There were some who fought to preserve Mizuki's natural treasure.
残すことには賛成ですが、それでは残すだけになってしまうでしょう。
With those words, the mayor snuffed out the voices of the minority and ushered in a long-term plan for new urban development. They need to do this in America, please. Sorry. More than enough funds for the urban development were collected, and the unassuming town of Misaki became the largest municipality of Misaki City in merely 10 years. Even though it lacked in modernity of neighboring Yashirogi, or the elegance of Misaki Hills.
それも当然よね。どういじくっても、もともとが山中の宿場町だし、山ごと切り崩すって言うんなら別だけど。
And Tosaka lives in a house that's like far away from everybody else, and so does Aoko. Hey, I have a question. Since you never covered it in your videos, what's your thoughts on Fate Zero? Me personally, I think it's meh. Okay, I was gonna make a Fate. I have my review written. I just never put it in a video because I was watching Fate Zero, and I was gonna do like another Fate like long video. So I was gonna do Fate Zero. Probably Fate Extra, like the Netflix show. And then I started playing the video game, so I never finished the anime. And then I was going to do probably the Grand Order stuff, but I don't know. There's so much Fate anime, and I wanted to make a long enough video that it wasn't skippable. Anyway. Fate Zero, I did not. I liked the art, but I didn't really like it that much. I kind of agree that it's meh. People say it's like the best Fate anime, and it's like the only one you have to watch. And I'm like, if you tell someone who's never watched Fate before to watch Fate Zero, they're going to be like, okay, so it's like a spy thriller series. When in reality, Fate is like a silly, goofy, and then sometimes horrific and dramatic and like really heartfelt show. But there's no love in Fate Zero, I feel like. And this would all go in my review if I ever write it. But like Fate Zero felt like, oh, let's make another Fate show. So we can, I don't know, have it. And the part that really got me was when Gilgamesh was chasing Berserker, like, over the river, and, Juderai was doing his, like, Holy Grail stuff. But Gilgamesh hops on this, like, golden cart. Let me show you guys. This is when I was like, okay, this show is garbage. This dude is flying on like this was the wait, okay. What's his name? Lancelot? This pissed me off. This whole scene pissed me off because this dude is sitting on a chair flying through the sky, and then Lancelot jumps on a plane. This dude jumps on a plane and just starts flying it around. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? And this goes on for like 5 minutes straight of them chasing each other in the sky. And like, it just, and I'm like, what is happening? This isn't Fate. I'm sorry, this is just not Fate. Like, I thought they would have a cool fight between Lancelot and King Arthur because they both come from the same legend. I was like, this could be a cool thing that they can go into. And granted, they did have a fight in the end of the show. But still, this was just dumb. He's riding on an airplane shooting missiles at Gilgamesh, and then Gilgamesh is doing flips on his little chair while the human guy is like kissing his feet. This, like, looking back at this show, it was so mid. Like, you look at Fate Stay Night, and you're like, okay, this is fun. And, like, I'm so glad Artoria gets more stuff to do. But, like, seeing this clown, I didn't like it. I especially didn't like this episode. Oh, my friend's calling me. Hold up, let me answer. I'm streaming.
You stream?
Huh?
You stream?
Yeah.
I thought you just did YouTube videos.
I'm streaming on YouTube.
It's live?
Yeah. Wait, let me mute. Sorry, I just had to make plans with my friend. We're gonna hang out on Friday now. They're just flexing their animation. No, that had to be it. They were literally... Is my mic loud, guys? No one's told me how my sound sounds. They're definitely flexing. Dat Dragon gotta go. Have a good stream. Might join later. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Dat Dragon. They're definitely flexing their budget with that one. It went on for too long. I did not like it. Well, yes, it was Nasu's idea to have a sky battle. If you ask me what a bad fight was, it was Artoria versus... Oh, that's, What characters? Is that Lancer? I forget. That whole show, I kind of forgot most of it. Oh, don't get me started on the Lancer in that show, who was just... Yeah, I don't know. I also didn't like that Artoria was... Like, I know she's cool and, like, the motorcycle and, like, the suit and the tuxedo. But, like, at that point, just give her, like, a gun. Because she doesn't look... I mean, I know she jumps in her armor whenever she has to. I don't know. Just the vibes in that show were so... I didn't like it. I didn't like the vibes in that show. There's a guy in the Steam community page for the Fate Stay Night remaster that kept saying, watch Fate Zero first before reading, since it's the intended experience. What? That's like saying, watch... a spoiler before you read. What? Yeah, Fate Zero fans probably have never heard of Grand Order. They probably never heard of Unlimited Blade. Or no, here's what they did. They watched Fate Zero, and they watched Unlimited Blade Works and stopped there. They never watched the 2006 anime, so they have no idea what the Fate route is. They have no idea that Saber and Shiro get together and kiss and do all that. They have no idea. They never watched Heaven's Feel, so they have no idea how cool the action in Fate can be and how serious the stories can get. So they think Fate Zero is the most serious Fate show. They think it's got the best drama. They think it's the darkest show. They think, oh, Fate Zero is the best, and it happens before the events of Stay Night, so you have to watch it first. When in reality, no, you don't. You shouldn't. I think you should watch Fate Zero never, but you can watch it after Heaven's Feel, after you get a gauge of how everything works. That's when I watched it. It's kind of funny how people say Gilgamesh felt unbeatable before Shiro or Artoria defeated him, even though Gil failed to put a scratch on Lancelot on both fights, and the second one he blew it. Exactly. Lancelot would have cooked him if it was a fair fight, but I swear Berserkers in Fate in general, like, Berserkers get the short end of the stick. They get washed. They get one time to shine, and then they get washed. But that's just Fate. Lancelot could have destroyed him, though. Fate Zero Stars think that everything should be like Fate Zero. They do. They think, like, you'll say Fate Zero wasn't that good, or it was just okay, and they're like, oh, you probably like the Studio Dean Fate. Okay, I do. I do. I like it better, actually, because, like, I couldn't imagine, I just, like, watching that whole show, the episodes kind of were forgettable. It's not fun watching Saber spend an entire show where she's just unhappy. Like, when she's in Fate Unlimited Blade Works, or Heaven's Feel, or even, what's it called? The original Fate route. She's at least having a good time for some of it. But I felt like there was no time in Fate Zero where she's actually happy to be there. And it's just so miserable. Like, the show is miserable. And not in a good way. I would love a Fate story where the main character Serpent is a Berserker. That's what I'm saying. Berserkers get no love. Or Assassin. I feel like Assassins are always villains. But imagine, like, a hero, a good guy assassin. We're getting so distracted. Look at us talking about Fate while streaming Witch on the Holy Night. All the people who don't care about Fate left the stream. They're like, screw this guy. I wouldn't say that Gilgamesh would lose. I'm just saying that it didn't look like Gilgamesh was stronger than Lancelot. I see what you mean. I feel like... I don't know. I feel like Lancelot was nerfed. He had so much aura. He had so much aura just to be silenced by Gilgamesh, or not even Gilgamesh. But why was he riding on that dang plane? Like, there was a dude in that plane who probably died, and his corpse is just in the plane, just sloshing around while they're doing backflips in the air. Like, that was crazy. I'm sorry, that I can't get with that. Orobochi, the author of Zero, is literally nicknamed the Butcher or something. Yeah, because he butchered the Westerners' general opinion of Fate, and now they think Fate Zero is like the Matrix, but Fate. It's cool Fate. This ain't your grandma's Fate Stay Night. This is Fate Zero. Yeah, we kill. We actually kill in Fate Zero. Lancelot was nerfed in a fight against Artoria. Oh, definitely. But that's fine. I mean, that's like a thematic theme. But I also just don't like Gilgamesh in general, so... Guys, we gotta lock in. He's literally called Uro Butcher. How long is this chapter? We've been sitting here... I could put bookmarks. Let me quick save. We've been sitting here for so long. Let's lock in, guys. I'm glad we have this conversation about Fate Zero. I feel better that I got my thoughts out. I feel like I would never tell him because I haven't made the Fate video yet. Which I will make another Fate video. Don't worry. I should have put the visual novel video in the same Fate Zero video. Actually, I should make a video titled Why Fate Zero Isn't That Good. But he made Psychopath, so he's just forgiven. You can't win them all. Hey, if you get the keys to make a Fate show, you probably... I wouldn't, but some people might choose style over substance. And that's what he chose. Urbanization had been contained to the lowlands around the station, with most of the hills and mountains still standing as they did 10 years prior. The exhaustion of funds succeeded in protecting the old Misaki where the citizens could not. It became a truly odd suburban town, welcoming an increasingly urban population with its vestiges of old country charm. Misaki High School was a private school established long before the town's current state. The original campus, built 50 years ago, was located high up in the mountains, making its current location its second incarnation. Okay, the thing about Nasu's visual novels is he takes a good time explaining how a city was made. Like, this is gonna go on for some time. The path to the old grounds was not only steep and remote, that it had become an overgrown game trail with the passage of time. For these reasons, among others, Misaki High School had been shuttered until almost 20 years ago when it received a donation from a department store chain that allowed for the construction of a new campus in the city. Shout out to the department store. And thus Misaki High School reopened its doors, the old woodland campus forgotten. In fact, most of the students attending Misaki High School were not from Misaki at all. The hardy rustic people of this country town preferred prefectural schools to private ones. Truth be told, Aoko herself was one of them. All she wanted after junior high was to move to Tokyo, where she hoped to spend her days touring her favorite bands on her way to entering a public university. But her hopes were dashed with her sister's departure, so here she was, walking alone in town with a red umbrella to keep her company on what should have been a day off.
思い返してみると、私の人生ってなんか災難続きっぽい。
Her frustration evaporated into the cold December air.
でもま、いっか。退屈だけはしないわけだし。
I just realized I could clip our conversation about Fate Zero and just upload that as like a short. Wait, I'm kind of cooking low key. Hold up, I gotta set a reminder to hang out with my friend on Friday. Keep chatting, chat. How is Friday in 3 days? How is it even possible? Oh, she sent me a bunch of texts too. I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. Don't quote me on this, but I heard that Urabochi was thinking of quitting, so Nasu got him to write a Fate project so he can keep going. Well, Zero is kind of intended to be a Greek tragedy, but what happened to Saber had nothing to do with Greek tragedy because she did nothing to get such backlash. Because of that, people really thought she was a sore loser. Hey, I noticed you seem to be... Oh, wait. Hold up. I heard FromSoft. I'm a FromSoft sexual over here. What would be a good one to start with since I'm trying to get into the series? Okay, if it's your first time playing a Souls game, my first one was Elden Ring. And it's the most recent one, obviously. I recommend that one the most. People say start with Dark Souls 1, start with Bloodborne, but I'm telling you right now, Elden Ring has everything you want and more. It has, because there's quality of life stuff in it that people don't talk about. But play Elden Ring if you can. If it's on sale, I think it's on sale for New Year's. It might be off sale right now, but I don't know. It's on sale for New Year's. Elden Ring is my favorite Souls game. And then Bloodborne. I'm starting Dark Souls 1, but I've been doing other stuff like writing my own visual novel. But play Elden Ring. It's got a ton of different combat options. You can do several different like builds. That's what they call them. So you could be like a wizard or a knight or a ninja or samurai, or you can shoot people with a bow and arrow for the entire game. The music is great. The DLC is fantastic if you get that far. The world is huge, so there's going to be a lot of stuff to do. I have like 300 hours in that game. There's literally so much to do in Elden Ring. It's kind of crazy. It's open world, so if you get stuck at a boss fight, you can go run to a different boss fight or go run to a different area, level up, go on a training arc, and whoop that boss's butt. That's my favorite part of Elden Ring, is that you can go on training arcs. So definitely play Elden Ring if you want to do it. Like, seriously. I recently read Sayano Uta, pretty good, but it displayed another flaw of his as a writer. He's pretty bad at making sense of how situations turn out the way it did. He literally gave plot armor tragedy. Urabochi likes to have a character that is pure in some way and have their thought process shattered in some way. He had a character like that in Psychopaths, and I guess he molded Saber to fit that. I agree, because there was a conversation Saber had with the other kings. It was like 10 minutes of talking, where they're all like, oh, kings are meant to conquest and kill, or kings are meant to have everything for themselves. And then Saber's like, well, I think kings are meant to protect the little guy. And then they laugh her out of the building. She's like, I think kings are meant to be good people, and we are just as human as everybody else. Of course, she wasn't human as a king. She rarely showed her emotions, but she's like, as a king, I have to protect my country, protect my people, and make sure peace is kept. And everybody else, and Gilgamesh and Ryder were like, you're such a loser. And so, like, when you hear that as a Saber fan, I'm a Saber enthusiast, and I'm like, come on, guys. But it does suck that people might have agreed with Gilgamesh because, I don't know, they probably think Gilgamesh is cool or something. So then they're like, oh, Saber's kind of lame for thinking that. Or she's a sore loser for not wanting the Grail. When also in the visual novel, she's like, I am trapped in eternity to keep playing these Grail wars, to keep participating in the Holy Grail war until I get the Holy Grail. Like, that's her whole thing. And I don't know, I forgot what it was called, but she's not like a true servant. She's still alive, like, technically. So she has to keep doing the Holy Grail until she gets it. So when she's pissed off that Kiritsugu made her destroy the Grail, she's not a sore loser. She's, like, genuinely pissed that she has to do this all over again. But yeah. I gotta stop ranting. Yeah, the problem was not with what they said, but how she responded. She was literally shaking every time. Well, yeah. But I think it was also because they called her a little girl, and she was like, she wanted to beat the mess out of them. She knew she shouldn't have fought. But I think she wanted to beat the mess out of them because they kept calling her a little girl. They're like, maybe you should go back to your little house and stop playing king, little girl, or something like that. Yeah, and Fate's Day Night Saber, she would have obliterated them. She would have. Iskandar especially, she would have got him and his master. She would have killed him first for the magical energy, and then obliterated Gilgamesh. She would have speed blitzed him, so he couldn't pull out Aya. With those words, her mood brightened a bit as she left the school in her wake. The busier part of town met her at the bottom of a gently sloping road. We call him the roommate? Oh no, it's Misaki train station was brand new. Oh, look at this town! They got Uniqlo! Wait! Look at this. Okay. Once looking no prettier than an abandoned factory, it had been renovated into a multi-purpose structure with huge department stores on its east and west sides. When the department stores first opened, Aoko and her friends had been impressed with their modern feel, but in time the stores too became dated. She had no shopping to do today, so she passed them by. What she really wanted to do was rest at a cafe, but she fought the urge, knowing her roommate would never let her hear the end of it if she frittered away her money. Hello? Girl, did you get on the crosswalk? Oh. What is... She looked back and blinked. For just a moment, she could have sworn she'd seen someone suspicious in a red dress out of the corner of her eye. That was a cool effect, I'm not gonna lie. After trying to program a visual novel, I wonder how much work that went. It must have been her imagination. The sixth sense chill she was experiencing down her spine was a familiar one at this point. Oh. Y'all think it was Acrobatic Soki? Speaking of your visual novel, I read it and was wondering what is the name of the world in your story. I asked this question in your Google form. I need to not make those anonymous. The name of the world? Like how this is called... What is it called? What do you mean, name of the world? Like how this is Nasuverse, or like Witch of the Holy Night? Or do you mean like the actual country it's in? Just compare with how Saber reacted to Archer's insult in Fate's Day Night visual novel and Zero. You'll get much how she was butchered. Funny you say that. Waver legitimately has PTSD of Artoria and Illinois case files. Is there more Fate stuff I don't know about? What? Case files. Y'all, I am so... Okay. But also, Iffy, thank you for playing the visual novel playtest, by the way. I'll read the feedback. I haven't read it in a minute. Or read all the responses. Anyway, back to Witch of the Holy Night. I know. She continued her walk home, brushing off the event as it never had happened. In time, the chill faded, and all that was left was the sounds of the town. She sighed heavily. Had she imagined it? Even if it had all been in her head, she was far more comfortable with the feeling that still lingered. Look at these effects they have going on. She grumbled under her breath.
波乱万丈、商売繁盛、商業無常と。そうそう、忙しさに愚痴を言っても始まらないわ。
Unfortunately, summer and bugs go hand in hand. Every time I get a text, my freaking phone like falls off its thing. Okay. So you can see how bugs could be drawn to all the sweet fruit. Okay, music. Wait, we got Shiro cooking in the back? Rank with grease and heat, the kitchen was closed for the time being. The lunch rush had come and gone, but one last battle remained, dinner time. Only after the evening... this song. Could the kitchen crew remove their white armor and call it a day. In the midst of the war zone was was a lone newcomer.
これ着るんですか？
Is this the guy? His voice was uneasy, betraying how new he was.
気持ちはわかる。俺もどうかと思うけど、店長の言うことだから、もう笑顔で乗
Wait,
り
that's
越
a
えてく
cool
れ。
uniform. What y'all complaining
これ
about?
も商店街の明日のためなんだとよ。
His bright orange coworker clasped his hands together as if to beg for forgiveness as he saddled him with an unreasonable task. This city's built. Look at this hill. That is crazy. 10 years ago, Misaki City was a town of farm and woodland. This is built just like the city from Kill la Kill. What I mean by the setting, I mean, like, does it take place in a fictional world or, like, based on our own reality? Like, written? Oh, I got you. I was thinking it's a fictional world, but I think it's more like an alternate history. Like, the place it takes, like, the cities that's in Ulrich and Billmeyer are in what we would call, like, Britain. But it's like an alternate history. It's like if these cities were built instead of London and Bath and York and all that, you know? If that makes sense. So it's kind of like this, where they have fictional cities like Misaki and Fuyuki in Japan, but it's not, you know. Bro, there's too much Fate not animated, so there's a lot. Anyway, forget all that. It's Mahoyo. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. New year, new franchise. Followed up on Steam. I'll check it out after the stream. I'll probably follow back. Y'all, I keep sitting here reading chat like it's the visual novel. I gotta get to these paragraphs, y'all. But everything has changed. Look how the city's all the way up down here. It used to be at the top of the screen. Okay. The front of the station now lined with tall multi-story buildings, and the residential areas were similarly full of apartment complexes. The once rustic scenery around the station had long come a thing of the past. Shiro Inuzuka was the only place in the city that still contained vestiges of the old town, a pocket of the past inside an urban jungle. The road extended up a conspicuously high hill to an old residential district far from the hustle and bustle of the train station. Long ago, it had been considered unwise to build on high ground, so nobody lived above a certain elevation. I'm gonna get it. Shiro Inuzuka, sitting as it did atop a hill in the middle of the town, was no exception to that convention and had no residences to speak of. They're just talking about city building. Oh, the music's fading. The asphalt continued for some time, eventually giving way to a mountain road that was swallowed into the cover of trees. A lone vending machine stood to mark the boundary between town and beyond. Even the children knew that there was nothing beyond the new playground and development that so enthralled them. Well, that was not entirely true. There was nothing besides that haunted house. The who? There's a haunted house. With all that said, I like Urobuchi as a writer. His style is very unique, but if you know him, he's pretty predictable. But not subjectively is just better as a writer. He can write. Yeah. I'll have to watch Psycho-Pass. I think I watched parts of it when I was a kid. But I do agree that he butchered Saber. Artoria deserved a lot better. They need to just do a Fate route, UFO table, or whatever studio makes the Fate Grand Order stuff. Get a Fate route adaptation going. Call it a day. Aren't they making a movie of this visual novel? We'll shut up. Y'all don't have to shut up. I'll read. I love reading chat. Remember when Riffley was here? And that was the only... Remember when that was the only chat we had going on? This is great conversation. As Tsukihime and Cardinal Kyokai showed, but he held back a lot by Taguchi, if not for Stay Night, would be more darker. That makes sense. Because I keep hearing about some decisions that he wanted, or some things in his writing that just don't line up with the art. The biggest example being that Saber apparently, well, Saber's described to be like muscular, but obviously she's drawn as a dainty little 17-year-old. They do plan on making adaptations of this game. That's good, guys. We gotta finish this visual novel before they make the adaptation. We can do it. We can do it. Full series. Except when I start college, I might get busy. So, look, we'll figure it out. We're gonna do this. Mahoyo. Look, this is it, team. Chat, let's go. Aoko Aozaki traversed the long slope. Below her, she could see the whole of Misaki. The symmetrical town looked like a miniature set from this height. It would look like a painting if there had been a sea next to it, but unfortunately, Misaki City was very much landlocked. While it was overcast at the moment, the scene was quite breathtaking on clear evenings. The view was one thing that made the arduous climb worthwhile, and today, she had been denied even that.
ああ、雨の日は自転車も使えないし、1日に2回ぐらいバスでも通ってくれないもんかな、ほんと。
Yeah, Ufotable was making a duology of this, I think. They're making a movie at least, and everyone's asking for it. I need a Fate Route remake, please. Oh my god! Ufotable. Look, Ufotable, they cook, they make bangers, and they got the budget. They have unlimited budget works. That's their noble phantasm. Unlimited budget works. I watched your Wednesday vid, thank you. Up to the Addams Family part because I didn't want to spoil. Valid. I think the show's pretty good. Solid 8.5 for 9. Are you excited for season 2? I am, because Jenna Ortega is a producer on it. So she has more say in how the story goes. So I'm hoping that she helped with the good decisions that hopefully will come in season 2. And I hope it'll be scarier. I hope it'll be less Disney Channel, sitcom-like. And I hope it's more like an actual... meaningful story. I thought it was okay. I thought it was like a 7 or 8. I forgot what I gave it. The reason I said Addams Family Values was better was because it was just so much funnier and had a little bit more depth, in my opinion. Fate Route remake is our ever-distant utopia. Yeah, the Fate Route remake is our version of Avalon. Can never reach it. Aoko had been using this road to get to school for almost 2 years now, but the journey had never gotten easier.
あれ、鍵閉まったまま？
Call Alice.
ア
Call
リ
on the
ス、
phone.
まだ帰ってきてないんだ。
And she's not even here. With a weary shrug, she put her hand on the rusty iron fence. Did she break it with her hands? Quietly, the heavy gate swung open as if to welcome her home. Or maybe she's a witch and used magic. They're just playing this song? Really? There sits atop that little haunted house. I guess they can play the song, yeah. That is how the story much... Why are they playing this song? But fresh rumors about this house had sprung to life almost as fast as the town's modernization. Despite being dilapidated and abandoned for many years, lights can be seen inside the house at night. An angry murder of crows often gather atop the hill before mysteriously vanishing. Children get lost in the fog, never to be seen again. Late at night, a shrieking sound can be heard all the way to town. This particular piece of slander was the one Aoko wished to discredit the most. The final rumor was of an eye-catching luxury car that sometimes made its way up and down the hill. The rumor spread and grew day by the day, and while they grew, the house that everyone thought had rotted away was restored over the recent years. Deep in a wood atop a hill no one dared to approach, like a ruin, shrouded from view even on the brightest of days, stood a relic out of time, a building from a fairy tale. The house. This is like the Mato mansion. The Kuonji mansion. Everyone in town knew about the witch's house on the hill. It was an unabashedly haunted house where Aoko Aozaki resided, for reasons known only to her. Needless to say, it was not really haunted. The Kuonji family home was a grand Western-style mansion with a long and storied history, stretching all the way back to England. It was way too small to be a dormitory, yet too big to be called a house. The main building contained as many as 3 normal houses' worths of rooms and was surrounded by a large, all-encompassing courtyard. The perimeter of the grounds was surrounded by a high iron fence covered in thorny vines. There was also an annex to the main building. Given such extravagances, It's no wonder that it inspired rumors. To the town residents, the mere existence of such a lavish and out-of-place mansion on top of a hill was a cause for suspicion. Oh, this is like Tosaka's Western house. Oh, more chat. Let's see. I heard the writers got mad at her, but now they basically have no choice but to. I also like how they combine the slight cartooniness with seriousness without making it too unrealistic. I agree. And if you watch Adam's Family Values, you'll see like that mix of cartoony and seriousness. Like, it's really good in that movie, and I hope Jenna Ortega took some notes from there. I won't say that I saw Cloverworks, MAPPA, and A1 reaching their level of animation. It's just that they have a healthy schedule, and they're pretty skilled with time and CGI management. Yeah, Ufotable knows how to schedule properly, unlike some other studios. Hey, if you're an animator and you live in Japan, you better not post your work online, because MAPPA will find you and you'll cut straight to work. Is Fate a supernatural franchise or more realistic and grounded? I think Fate's is called Urban Fantasy. Yeah, it's like it's. I want to say it's both, because it has like it has supernatural elements in it, like people who can literally do magic and magical weapons and summoning historical figures from the past to fight in a big war. But it's also very serious in how it handles its characters, and that's like the best part of Fate. It isn't in my opinion, it isn't the action or the magic, but it's actually like how the characters interact with each other. And that is like the best part of Fate. So it's realistic in how they act. It's not grounded because there's such a spectacle to it, but it's still very real. Like, it's not like a cartoon. Yeah, a lot of studios like making too many animes at the same time, killing their workers with it. Yeah, and the entire Nasuverse is... Oh. But I agree, yeah. This is the only Fate content I have watched in my life. Funny story, this technically isn't Fate. But I'm glad you're here. I do have the Fate VODs on my channel, though. And I did a review on the Fate visual novel. And the Fate series, like the anime. There's like 2 hours worth of videos. No, 2.5 hours worth of videos. And then, like, I think I have like a day's worth of live streams on my channel. Rumors, lies, and slander were the prices to be paid for fame. With only 2 lodgers, it was hard to disagree with the perception that vampires must be living here.
ま、私はともかく、アリスはそういうのやりかねないし。
Yo, let's meet Alice already. Dang, she put her hand on the front door. It was a grand double door that would have been paired with a brass lock, and yet it was secured with little more than a simple keyhole. Pushing it open with one hand, she entered the supposedly haunted house. And by the way, if vampires were not enough to scare you, ghosts were known to appear on certain nights. Thanks for that. Look at the animation. Like, they don't have to do all this, but they do. Anyway, much like the weather outside, the foyer was overcast with shades of gray. Perhaps by deliberate design, the architect had chosen not to include any lights in the entrance area. The ceiling was 2 floors high. The only light in the room came from the skylight. It was particularly gloomy on rainy days. On moonless nights, it was like the world itself ceased to be. Aoko decided the drawing room to the east would be a good place to rest, but knowing that she would not be able to relax until she changed clothes, she started up the stairs. The stairs curled up the wall to the 2nd floor hall. There was a 3rd floor attic as well, accessible from the far end of the hall. She had never set foot in there in the 2 years she had lived here, though. The Kuonji mansion was more or less divided into 2 wings, east and west. Aoko had been given the entire east wing, but 2 rooms were more than enough as far as she was concerned. She had no desire to open a door that would trap you in a storybook world or lead to an attic that had only been used for storage these last 5 years. Aoko's room was at the end of the east wing's long corridor. She had elected for a smaller room for no other reason other than that she thought it would be easier to clean. It was furnished with a large bed, her beloved mahogany desk, a wardrobe and chest for her clothes, and 2 9-shelf bookcases. That was the extent of what she'd brought from home. Her entire life of 16 years reduced to this. This is in the same universe or general timeline as Fate, right? And Tsukihime is in parallel worlds where Serpent don't exist. Okay, I think this is a prequel to Tsukihime. So this is a world where, I guess, vampires exist, but not servants. But in Fate, Fate is the one that doesn't have these characters in it, I think. That's my guess. I saw your Fate videos. I haven't watched them because when you release them, I stopped watching film content. But I'm glad the algorithm has brought them back to me. I'm glad too. She'd also borrowed the next room down for her own purposes.
そうだ。アリスにもらった見張りと壊れてないかチェックしないと。
You got a watchtower? Like, that's not a watchtower. She needed to see if the project I've been working on all night had borne fruit. The study next door served as proof of life she had been living for the last year and how different that life was from the one she had lived before. Nasuverse so confusing. See, that's what I thought, and then I realized it's kind of like the Marvel universe, where there's so many different timelines, but like, if you start somewhere, you'll eventually figure it out. Like, this is basically like if Fate was Earth 616, if you know Marvel. I don't even know if you know Marvel, but if you do, like, Fate would be like Earth Prime or Earth 616 with like Spider-Man, Iron Man, all them. And then Tsukihime and Witch on the Holy Night would be 1610 with Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man. The Ultimates, like, it's like an alternate universe. Though I think it would be pretty cool if they were in the same universe. That'd be kind of funny. It was not a room for the person she had been. It was a room for the person she would eventually become, a place of solitude that only she could enter, or so she thought.
壊れてるどころか跡形もなく消え去ってる。やっぱ自己流アレンジはまだ早かったか。いいわよ。笑いなさいよ、コマ撮り。
Who's Robin? Oh, legit Robin on the thing. The nosy neighbor that interrupted upon her sanctuary flew away. While not exceptionally talented, Aoko did not lack for effort and was not afraid to fail. One could have almost mistaken her approach for optimism. She changed out of her uniform and returned to the first floor. Okay, she's fitted up. Down the stairs, she opened the door to the east wing into the corridor as a dark cellar. The absence of windows meant it was pitch black without the lights on, so she flicked on the switch and entered the nearby doorway. Watching TV?
電気のない生活か。想像したくないな。
It had been her idea to update the drawing room. The walls were decorated with extravagant patterns, and around the room were large, majestic sofas, and a luxurious Persian rug. Amidst it all was a 30-inch television that seemed completely out of place. It stood looking over the furniture like the emperor with no clothes. The mansion's owner would have rather done without it, but to a commoner like Aoko, it was an essential commodity. They had fought over its presence at first, but eventually came to an agreement and now mutually enjoyed this modern comfort.
なんだ、人のことは言えないか。うちも案外時代錯誤な家だった。
They can't pan the camera up a little bit to look at her eyes. Now in a somewhat pleasant mood, she decided to brew some tea. She boiled some water in the kitchen, prepared a teapot, and made herself some black tea. a flop, she sank into the sofa. She took a sip of her tea and then another. Wow. I like that this visual novel is so, like, fluid. Like, there's a lot of movement in it. Lulled by the ticking of the clock, she took a third sip as she pondered how to spend her afternoon. The sofa almost seemed to be inviting her, and she sunk even further into its comforting embrace. Aoko blearily opened her eyes as she lifted her body up from the cushions. Is this who I think it is? This was no dream or delusion. At some point, a girl had sat across from her. Not the least bit surprised, she reached for the teacup, but the tea within had gone completely cold. She asked the question to the girl on the other side of the table. The girl answered without lifting her gaze. Guys, it's Alice. Why is she fitted up like this? When silent, she could have been mistaken for a beautiful doll. The girl sitting on the opposite sofa was reading an old book. She had delicate limbs and pale white skin. Not a hint of humanity emanated from her melancholic aura. She had darker hair than Aoko, and her icy eyes were focused on the pages in front of her. Her clothes resembled that of a nun, but were actually her school uniform. In Aoko's humble opinion, the gloominess suited her. She evoked something like out of a painting. There was something unreal about her, as if she were frozen in time. The white of her gently arched neck was so lovely that even Aoko found herself enchanted by it. The girl was one of the haunted house's two residents. I don't know why I keep saying that. Her name was Alice Kuonji. Okay, so her family owns the mansion. And she was the same age as Aoko.
私、どれくらい寝てた？
1時間と少し。ここで眠ると風邪ひくわよ。
Alice answered indifferently, not that it bothered Aoko, who was now used to it. She looked at the clock on the wall and saw that it was already 7. She had been asleep for 2 hours. The day had been a rough one for her, and she had slept a little the night before, so it was no surprise that she dozed off for as long as she had.
起こしてくれてもよかったのに。
I'm glad Beyond the Spider-Verse got delayed. I agree too, so they didn't rush the animators. I know it's supposed to come out this year. In March? Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. Or last year, sorry, 2024. Oh, yeah, I was thinking of Garden of the Sinners when I was talking about Fate. Though every installment, I'm pretty sure, picks and chooses what to make relevant to them, each in their own timeline. Okay, Garden of Sinners. I need to watch it. You're the second person to mention that. I need to actually watch it. You could have woken me
せっ
up.
かくの紅茶が冷めちゃったじゃない。
私が来た時はもう冷めてたわ。
でしょうね。行ってみただけよ。
Aoko drank down the rest of the cold tea in one gulp. The poorly heated Kuonji mansion, that was more than enough to clear her head and
こう
wake
な
her
る
up.
と、フォートナム&メイソンも何もないわね。おかえり、アリス。玉の贅沢もあんた抜きじゃ閉まらないってことかしら。今日は薬日か天中殺か。ちょっと早いけど、お参りってのも十分ありかもね。
Aoko shrugged her shoulders as if resigning herself to her fate.
それで何があったの？
After 2 years together, they know each other quite well. Aoko had one way of asking questions, and Alice had another. Alice asked without raising her head, and Aoko gave her the details.
まず謝らなくちゃいけない。昨日徹夜で完成させた例のあれ、意味がなくなっちゃったのよ。ちょっと目を離した隙に沸騰しすぎて壊れちゃったみたい。そうならないよう循環のコードを 2,3 本外したり縫合したりしたんだけど。
Aoko tried to laugh it off as if it was someone else's problem.
どういうこと？
今朝休養が入って学校に呼び出し受けたの。 そこで転入生の世話を押し付けられて一日が無残にも消費されちゃって、帰ってきたら跡形もなく消えてました。怒る？アリス。
別に青子の器物破損にいちいち怒っていたら一生分の口論をすることになるでしょ。
She's so emo.
代用品はあるからまた一から始めればいいわ。それより怒ってるのはあなたの方じゃないの？
Alice was very much on point today. It was true that, despite outward appearances, Aoko was seething with frustration. That aside,
この転入生っていうのがひどくずれててね。すごい山奥で暮らしてたらしくて、こっちの常識が通じないんだから。三問以下いって言葉があるけど、あれって本当のことなのね、アリス。
Alice raised her head in response to hearing her name. But Aoko kept going on before she could get a word in edgewise. Aoko, after all, expected no sympathy in the first place.
初対面から尺に触るやつだったけど、教室を案内した時なんか失神しそうになったわ。そいつ、教室で教師と1対1で授業を受けるもんだと思ってたらしいの。それ
Oh,
はそ
tell
れ
her
でま
about
だ
how we
流
almost
せる。
killed himself
許
today.
容範囲？あの程度の冗談は。
Bro was
で、
jumped out of a window.
私が簡潔かつ丁寧に教室の何たるかを教えた後で、そいつなんて言ったと思う？それで青崎、他の教室は何に使うんだ？
Golly, so
で
stupid.
すって。教室に他も何もないでしょ？なんていうか、そいつは少しでも説明を怠るとそのままで納得しちゃうのよ。何も疑問に思わないというか、想像力が欠如してるっていうか、想像することに慣れてないっていうか。まあ一度言ったことはちゃんと分かってるっぽいからバカってわけじゃないんだけど。
あなたが人を批評するのは珍しいわね。そういうダメな人気にするたちだったの？
みじんたりとも気にしないわよ。けど明日からどんな間違いをしでかすのかちょっと心配なだけ。
What she was really worried about was having to clean up that mess if and when it happened. That had to be it. If not, it would mean she had no real idea why she could not get him out of his head.
とにかく変なやつなの。案外アリスと気が合うかも。
You two would probably hit it off great. That's crazy.
三問異解はいい言葉ね。
But from her eyes, it was clear that the question of whether they would get along was irrelevant, given that they would never meet in the first place. Aoko gave a non-committal response.
ところでアリス、さっきから何読んでるの？
霊的進化論の二次創作、スピリチュアルダイアリのまがいもの。
Sure, yeah.
ああ、スウェーデンボリー。そんなの今更読んでも仕方ないんじゃない？
新書なら退屈だけど、これは偽書だから。彼の欠点と長所を劇的に褒め上げている。よくできた冒険小説のようよ。立ちはだかる秘密組織の名前がカントとか気が利いているわ。筆跡はあなたのおじいさんのものだけど。
へえ、あの人そういう趣味まであったんだ。割とユーモアがあったのね。惜しい人を亡くしたわ。
Aoko seemed nostalgic over her now deceased grandfather.
あなたのおじいさん、夏に頼りをくれたけど。
よしてよ、死んだものと考えたいのに。
Aoko sighed and laid back on the sofa. The soft cushions caved in under her weight.
話は戻るけど。
Alice shot a glance at Aoko. Her body, buried in the sofa, remained as still as a corpse. Anyways, gotta go have fun. Hey, thanks for tuning in, GF. See ya. I don't even know how long I want to be streaming. I did not prepare for how long this game was going to be and how long I would be yapping. Yeah, I had no idea how long this game was. Completely underestimated it. I was actually supposed to hang out with a friend today. You're back? Welcome back. Alice silently chastified her with a look. The more she thought about it, the less important the events of this dame seemed to be. If she just ignored Alice, the conversation would end there. They would eventually get up and leave today's mistake unresolved for another day. However, that's not the kind of person Aoko Aozaki
いいわ
was.
よ。何？
She asked, still lying down.
今日できなかったのは少し痛いわね。
だから反省してるって。学校優先は一人前になってから
A
でしょ。
mage?
ならいいけど。
The coldness in her voice made Aoko gnash her teeth. She knew what Alice wanted to say. She knew better than anyone. The veneer she wore for school was different than the way she lived at home. While it could be called hiding in plain sight, Alice thought it was silly. And what the silence told her was,
覚悟を決めろって言いたいのよね、あんたは。
today's failure was not a colossal one. She just happened to be upset that the delicate balance between her home and school lives, chasing one at the expense of the other. And yet, that careless mistake was a clear sign of Ayoko's lack of commitment.
アリスは関係ない。これは私が私で決めなくちゃいけないこと。
She'd only known for sure for this last year and a half, but she had a hunch for as long as she could remember. Make the choice and the day will come. It was a little wonder that her morals and conscience had been stripped away. Aoko pushed herself back up. She was met by Alice's cold beauty and wordless gaze.
オッケー、アリス。来週中に決着をつけよう。
Gotta do it next week.
それでいいんでしょ？
ええ、青子がいいなら。
Aoko could not help but shake her head, feeling like she was hearing something similar for the second time that day. Even in the comfort of her own, she couldn't banish the thoughts that country boy from her mind.
じゃあ下準備はよろしくね。私まだできないし。
場所は例の公園でいい？
妥当な線ね。あ、でももう一軒の方は？そっちの方が急務じゃない？
時と場合、森に変化があれば教えるわ。
After that brief exchange, Alice returned her attention to the book on her lap. Shop talk was over. Now they could return to their normal relationship as roommates. Aoko grabbed the remote and turned on TV. Since Alice was busy reading, Aoko decided to tune into a variety show that had already started. Aoko's pretty similar to Rin, wanting to live a double life. Oh, definitely. Alice started to speak, but suddenly cut herself off. One of her delicate hands raised to her mouth. She would always cut herself off in the second she realized she was about to say something trivial. Sometimes her self-restraint would hit too late, and she would make a gesture like the one she was making now. It occurred to Aoko that the sound her cute little roommate made just now was different than the wa she blurted in times past.
何？
Guys, is Alice cute? Aoko turned down the TV volume. Her intense eyes lit up like those of a mischievous
どう
cat.
ということはないんだけど。
Let's quick save.
ないんだけど？
What is his face? what is she doing? Alice looked away bashfully, not knowing if she should bring it up or not. It was times like these that her expression carried a real warmth and surprising charm. If he could see her in this moment, Alice's father would have to admit that her name suited her perfectly.
今日帰ってくるときおかしなものを見て誰かに話そうと思っていたんだけど。
Aoko nodded, beckoning her to continue.
つまらない、本当に意味のないことよ。けどどう考えてもそんなことをする理由がわからない。青子、人間ぐらいの大きな猫が
Wait, what?
ひょこひょこ出前をする理由ってわかる？
what did she see? A man-sized She's like, what are you talking about? For a second, Aoko thought Alice was trying and failing miserably to make a joke again. One would think that about anyone, really. But she seemed completely serious. Even if Alice's sense of humor fell flat for Aoko, this story already sounded more fanciful than Alice's usual attempt at jokes. Aoko concluded that her roommate was talking about something she had actually seen.
その話には2つぐらい信じがたい部分があるけど、1つずつ論破していい？
いいの。私もからくりぐらいは思いつくから。ただ理由がわからないから聞いてるの。わざわざ精巧な猫のぬいぐるみを着て出前のてんやものを届けに行くことってそんなに簡単かしらね。
She's genuinely fascinated by this.
難易度以前にそれをやる人間の常識性を疑うけどね、私は。
Alice nodded tentatively at her words.
まあ世の中いろいろあるから、私たちみたいなのもいれば、下界から遮断された山奥で暮らしていたやつまで10人といるよ。
What if this cat person becomes like a big deal? What if for Shizuki golly, I'm gonna stop talking. What if for the dumb guys Shizuki, what if for his job he has to dress up as a cat? The novel won't do this, but this is kind of what you can.
私だったら見かけたら声かけて理由を尋ねただろうけど。
Alice's gaze drifted at that.
暮れゆく住宅街にさまよう出前猫か。で、今日の夕飯どうする？せっかく話が出たし、私らもてんやものにしようか。
They're gonna deliver food. You're gonna deliver food now? Aoko loved getting takeout, and her face glowed as she spoke. They had no hard rules for dinner, but if one of them was in the mood to cook, they made it a point to make enough for two. At the very worst, this meant entire weeks without dinner, but the two of them agreed that this was the system that worked best for them. Whether they found cooking to be too much effort or simply liked ordering out, nights like this one were a common occurrence, much to the chagrin of the restaurants in Misaki town. What are they ordering from? They don't have DoorDash. Delivering to the mansion meant coming all the way up to the roof, to the top of this hill, the source of their disgruntlement.
時間は8時前。ギリギリセーフね。私今月がいいな。あそこの月見そば最近ご無沙汰だったし。
Bro, I want some real food. All I've had is cereal. The Hungry Student Council president laid out a stack of takeout menus, like she might fan a deck of cards, and excitedly scanned for anything that stood out. Alice casually responded without sparing so much as a glance.
悪いけど、私夕飯済んでるの。
What'd you say, Alice? I didn't catch that. Jeez. Holy crap. With those two words, Aoko froze. All deliveries required a minimum of 2 items, so she was out of luck without an accomplice. Y'all got a fridge. Just buy an extra meal, right? Cruel Society had not decided it couldn't be bothered to deliver to a princess who only ordered a single serving of food. Holy crap. This is disgusting. Incidentally, to counteract orders from the Hilltop Mansion, the restaurants had declared the minimum number of orders will be 3 starting next year, because these 2 girls keep ordering out every single week. Aoko and Alice were still in the dark to this fiendish change in direction. Oh, they're gonna hate this.
だから帰ってくるのが遅かったのね。帰宅部、学校までバス徒歩込みで片道20分のあんたがなんで5時以降に帰ってくんのか考えるべきだったわ。
Unfortunately for Aoko, she had been too cut out of it to even remember that she was the one who'd fallen asleep.
ああ、ひどい女。そういう時は残された一人のために
Y'all
お土
remember when I
産
was
買っ
talking
てくる
about
のが暗黙の
Tosaka
了
and
解だったのに。
when I was talking about Tosaka and Aoko making the same face? They made. Come on.
私だってこの前の外食の時はアリスの分も買ってきたじゃない。
It was unknown how serious Aoko was being, but she was visibly angry. She had already woken up hungry that morning, and from the time she was called into school until now, She hasn't eaten all day. She's pissed. It was a small miracle that her stomach was not growling. She knew it was her own fault, but she persisted, wanting to get revenge on Alice for scolding her earlier.
この前ってあれのこと？あなたが都心に出向いた時、夕食にお寿司を食べてきたのに、お土産はなぜかコンビニエンスストアのビニール袋だったって話？
Aoko had kicked a hornet's nest.
何よ、買ってこないよりはマシでしょ。
真実は時に隠蔽すべきね。
Alice's icy gaze pierced right through her. Wait, is Alice... Aoko had certainly crossed the line by going on and on about how the sushi circled around the restaurant while Alice ate her convenience store meal. But new things fascinated her as she couldn't contain her curiosity towards the conveyor belt sushi shops that started popping up at the time. They were nothing short of miraculous. Even honesty can be a sin given the right circumstances.
わかった。わかりました。じゃあ今回のは前のと帳消しってことでいいわね。
Alice went back to her book without so much as recognizing the question. Always like how Alice is the one wearing the Pencil family. Honestly, I'm so ready to read more about Alice because she seems so funny. The fact that she did not confirm it made Aoko anxious.
仕方ない。今日は薬日だし、おとなしく台所に立って料理の腕を磨くとしましょう。
Anyway, she stood up, announcing her intent to no one in particular.
あ、聞き忘れてた。アリス、どこで夕食済ませたの？
Alice's hand froze on her current page. She suddenly shut the book she was reading and stood up, as if at wit's end. She walked across the drawing room with her book in hand. When she reached the door, she stopped and turned toward Aoko.
聞きたい。
まあ、なんとなく。
Aoko nodded timidly, cowed by Alice's sudden vigor. Alice continued in her matter-of-fact way.
その猫が余ったメニューをくれたのよ。
And with that brief response, she left the room. Chapter 1? That's Chapter 1! We did it! We read Chapter 1! What's in the archive? Oh, this is cute. This is cute. I've never seen the CG mode. Oh, we can look at the yeah. There's Alice, the goat. Aoko, the goat. This idiot. This is great. I'm very excited for this game. What the heck is this? Yo. Oh, you can view all of their art pieces. You can look at all the expressions? Wait, this is so useful for me. So I know how many expressions I have to make for my visual novel. Wow. That's cool. Why is she looking at me? Oh, the opening had such pretty art. This is cool. Y'all, I'm excited to continue reading this visual. Oh, this is great. They have the 4 seasons. Alright. And they have the soundtrack. Wow. UI reminds me of the Wild, especially the save menu. The bookshelves are for replaying since this game doesn't have... Oh, really? Oh, so you can just sit back and read. That's cool. I don't gotta worry about getting a bad ending. That's great. Hey, thank you everybody for watching. We had great conversations talking about Fate Zero. I think I might actually clip that and post that as a short. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed Witch on the Holy Night, and I hope to stream it again soon. The visual novel is an adaptation of the light novel. Oh, really? I'll have to look that up. Really? That's cool. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time with another video. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed Witch on the Holy Night. And I'll see you guys next time. Leave a like. Subscribe if you're new. And peace out. See y'all.